put together a capture card or anything like that. So this was a brand new experience for me. I made it all the way to 4th place. I got my first world record in this game in January 2017, and now we're here. It's been amazing, and I guess I just want to use this time at the beginning to tell you guys that, like, if you saw that Strider run with Darkman and Jimmy, like, if you are ever considering speedrunning, if this is something that has grabbed you at all, I have so much fun doing this. It really makes my life feel a lot better, just having this kind of thing to fall back on. And yeah, if you've ever considered it, just shoot your shot, man.
Do it.
Oh, yeah.
So easy to pick up.
I've got, like less than 500 Twitch followers, and here I am on Saturday GDQ, so.
Oh, wow, that was a good fight.
Yeah.
Yeah, well. Oh, sick. Raven skip.
Yeah. Run valid.
Yeah, he's talking about, is it just totally random, or is there anything you can do to manipulate it as far as Cecil killing the Raven before it attacks him, which takes like a second or two.
Yeah, there are ideas about manipulating it. They seem to be kind of inconsistent from time to time, but that one we went down B, and down B worked.
Just reset every time it attacks first. It's fine.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think it's a good way to start a run. Anyway, my wonderful couch is Puexel, Natara, and Brasentia. Brasentia ran this game in GDQ, was it 2013?
Yeah, that was at our first hotel in Denver. Yeah,
Yep.
That was fantastic.
And game has changed a little bit since then. We're going to be using the same basic principles, but this run itself is a lot more consistent and much faster.
Yeah,
good.
Yeah, and if you saw the run of this that we did 2 years ago, run by No Cash, that was a different category that we've come to call now any percent no 64 or no 64 door glitch. And this category, which is any percent no CW or any percent no credit swarp, is pretty different, really. Even the parts of the game that at kind of a high level look the same, there's still a lot of subtle differences as far as kind of setting up for the end game for this particular category.
Yeah, so there's a credit warp glitch that was discovered by myself 086 that finishes the game about 9 to 10 minutes faster, which is why this is no CW. The run itself, though, is highly inconsistent. There's pretty much like a 50-50 chance once you get to the end that you actually execute the code you want to execute.
Sounds about right.
Yep.
So
it's not really kind of a better run in any real way other than just being faster because of skipping a bunch of stuff that normally plays out in the end game. So so this is really kind of the more popular category as far as kind of the fastest way to speedrun this game.
And especially where the setup is just incredibly similar. You will note here, though, for this particular category, we have finally taken control of the character, our main character, who is currently named Cecil. If you do want to get your donation incentives in to rename those characters, though, that is coming up. We will only have a couple of minutes left, so start getting those in. But you will note that the message speed and battle speed both got changed to 1. We want to make everything as fast as possible, both messages and the battles, as a lot of timings count on that. And also picked up a tent, which is going to be used in about no more than 5 minutes on one of our glitches, many of which are right here at the beginning of the game once we get out of the intro.
Yeah.
What's strange is that the miss skip, which is what it's called, wasn't really used until around 2012 or 2013. Like, people knew about it, but they hadn't really worked it into the route up to that point.
I guess while we're still getting going with these cutscenes, too, is a great opportunity to start talking about what we call step routing in this game, too, because anybody that's played this game, I'm sure, remembers that you get a lot of random encounters when you walk through the overworld and walk through dungeons in this game. Like, sometimes, like, you'll take, like, 4 or 5 steps and then get, like, 4 or 5 encounters back to back. And I mean, that's because the way encounters work in this game is that when you start, you have what's called an encounter seed, which is a number between, I believe, 0 and 255.
Correct, yeah.
Yeah.
And there's a pattern associated with each seed where across 256 steps that you take in certain types of maps that we'll kind of get into in more detail later, there's about 8 random encounters that are kind of assigned to specific steps. And for a lot of these patterns, it kind of works out that the encounters are clustered together kind of closely too, where like within like 10 to 15 steps, you'll have like 4 or 5 encounters. But through some really kind of heavily, or some manipulation strategies that a lot of people have put a lot of work into over the past couple of years, we both now have the means to both manipulate what our encounter seed is, and then from there, using that to
6 or 7 fade, nice.
Yeah, to manipulate the encounter pattern too, and actually cut. In kind of best cases for this category, are we cutting like 20 encounters or so, or?
Yeah, it depends on the seed, but generally you can cut anywhere from like 10 to 20 in this route. In No 64, it's even more.
Mm-hmm.
Which
yeah.
is and No 64, you do it a lot more because you want the grind fight. But here, it's not quite as important, which is why we'll just have a incentive where we can just lose it all of a sudden for no reason.
Yeah, and then even though he hasn't even gotten out of Baron Castle and even gotten any opportunities to get into random encounters yet, he's already done 2 significant things to set up his manipulation for the first dungeon, the Mist Cave. The first one was that before he started the run, which he was doing off stream basically during the interview before this, well, the short version is that he manipulated his cartridge to give him seed 92 when he started the new game for this run, which is a seed that we know kind of has all of its encounters clustered very early in those 256 steps. And then when you take steps inside Baron Castle, those actually count on the step counter, even though there's no possibility to get encounters there. We've actually already gotten past all of them, basically, for pretty much the whole seed. But one thing he did have to do as part of this setup, too, was to take one more step than he naturally would have done in order to get into Cecil's bedroom. And he did that by kind of doing a little turnaround on the chair on his way into the room. That added 1 to his step counter, and then skip getting an encounter, his first step on the overworld.
Yeah, that's the classic one, because it only takes 1. Because the chair, the little chair there actually does not count as a tile that you can embed step counter on.
Yeah, there's a lot of tiles like that in places where you can increment steps, like rugs, cracks in the tile, chairs, where the steps just don't count. So we take great advantage of those. So you're going to see a nice, lovely walk through this.
On average, I would say this probably saves like 30 seconds or so to be able to walk all the way through the Cave of Mist to get to the boss without a single random encounter.
Well, because you also have the chance of back attacks and surprise. You want to avoid as many encounters as possible because they can just eat up.
Yeah, I just want to make a quick note. This is your last chance to get any donations in for the Cecil or Kane naming incentives before we cut it off. It's after this boss fight where it will be cut off.
And it's very important we want Arby's.
I was just going to give everybody here a quick update. For Cecil, we've currently got Biff.
We are going to need a little bit of quiet time coming up, though, so Rivers can hear an audio cue for this fight. We'll let him do it and then explain it afterwards.
Okay.
This is the song of my people. Okay.
So what he was looking for there was a particular sound cue in the music, so he would know when to send Kane up in a jump. If you try and attack the Mist Dragon while it is in its mist form, you will get messages and counterattacks, all of which waste time. So even though this is kind of our beginner tutorial fight teaching us the ATB system, we want to get through it as fastly and quickly as possible. So also being set up in this fight is the item duplication glitch, which is going to be put to great use here in a moment. So we are going to be duplicating Kane's shield. So we're going to sell a whole bunch of invisible shields. It's going to be excellent.
But like, here's a pile of nothing.
Yeah, please give us lots of money.
But that's not even the tip of the iceberg for the glitchy goodness, too, because he's now setting up for a pretty significant glitch that we call the mist skip too, which is why he picked up that tent in Barren Castle, because it's a little hard to just see from watching the gameplay. But what he did was he took a step moving left, basically, then interrupted it by opening the menu, then used his tent, and that kind of resulted in kind of glitching out his map coordinates a bit so that the game kind of thinks he's shifted a tile over. Then by doing kind of the same thing, stepping right and then resetting the game, he was able to reload on top of the mist town.
Well, now I'm going to buy out all the donation incentives right now.
Yeah, so so that lets him enter the east entrance of Mist, and then getting early access both to the shops here, Rydia's house that has some good treasure in it, and then also for this marathon, the naming way.
So what do we got?
For Cecil, we've got Biff, capital B-I-F.
Oh, nice. The French community was really after that. Good job,
I believe
guys.
Biff is a French TASer and/or speedrunner.
Kane?
Yep.
And for Kane, we've got Batman with a capital B.
Batman. I'm a Lancer.
Yeah. So just for perspective, too, both these shops and the treasure he's about to pick up here, too, you are not supposed to have access to until much later in the game, basically after you've defeated Kenatsu, the Fiend of Water.
Yeah, you don't get the airship until then, so...
No, so by makes a lot of these items mid-game items, which we put to great effect, especially the dancing daggers and the tiara in this beginning section of the game, both for damage dealing with those dancing daggers, which you're going to see just the absolute beauty of our dancing daggers. And the tiara is going to be absolute key for the beginning part of the game.
Yeah, it's a really strong helmet that also boosts the wearer's magic stat.
So we want to make sure our small child we will be getting shortly does not get killed very early on.
Yeah. So this is a good time for donations.
Yeah.
Okay, I've got a few here. We've got $50 from Tifa's Revenge. Final Fantasy IV prologue theme will be played at my wedding. My wife and I love you guys.
Good choice.
Oh. Nice.
We've got $120 from Stephen H., who says, long-time watcher, second-time donator, keep up the good work and let's beat cancer. And let's see here. I know we've got some other Final Fantasy IV related ones. We've got $150 from Tuan, who says, FF4 is one of my favorites. Good luck on the run and kick cancer's butt, and also eat your vegetables. Which reminds me, we are just about to meet the Yang's Vegetables incentive, which is great because we're a little ahead of schedule on that.
Yeah, that's great. Wonderful.
But make sure to check out those other character name incentives. Can you remind us of which the next ones that are coming up?
Absolutely. The next three are going to be Rosa, Rydia, and Edward. So when we've got a couple of bosses here, but after Antline. So Antline dying is basically your 5-minute warning on that one. So we've still got about 10-ish minutes on that.
Yeah. So I guess another thing to note, too, is that in all of the Final Fantasies for Super Nintendo, 4, 5, and 6, you have the ability to change characters' weapons and shields in battle. And because that mechanic exists, you can actually rearrange equipment in your inventory during battle, too.
Batman!
Yeah.
Batman!
And because just opening the menu, going into your inventory, and dragging stuff around is very slow in this game, he's going to be kind of using that free time he gets in the battle system as much as possible to do a lot of sorting. Yeah,
and right now he's paying very close attention to where he does get encounters, because after the console was reset, the original Seed 92 was lost. So depending on where he gets his encounters, we'll tell him what particular encounter seed he has ended up on. So that will be incredibly important, both for knowing where the encounters are, and also to know where to take extra steps, which is something very common on most of the encounter seeds here.
Yeah, you can't see it on the camera, but he actually has his laptop up on a chair next to him that he both was using to see what number tiles in the desert he was getting those encounters on, and then start cross-referencing those in a table. Because even though we call this step routing, he only really has to actually count his steps right here, basically, until he figures out what his new encounter seed is after he reset the game as part of the missed clip. So, Natara, do you want to talk about run buffering?
I would love to talk about run buffering.
She loves run buffering.
I do. So this is usually just a whole day to win fight, but that's too slow for us. So this is the first opportunity we get to start using a technique called run buffering, where whenever we run in a battle which is unrunnable, we get a message come up saying can't run. And while that message is up, the ATB gauge is paused for absolutely everyone. So any command which is entered in while that message is up kind of gets pushed to the front of the queue, so we take advantage of that. Unfortunately, the soldiers fight does have a chance for bad ATB, where you can have perfect run buffering and the soldiers will still attack, and this is what happened here. We'll talk about run buffering again when we reach the Fabul Gauntlet, because that is absolutely critical. It is that's a hard enough section, but without run buffering, you're in trouble. So yeah, we'll talk about
because keep in
that.
mind he is playing this on battle speed 1, which is where he has a lot of cases very little reaction time to input fight commands or get into sub-menus that pause the battle, basically.
Absolutely. So that tiara we picked up is now getting equipped on our Rydia, who we can now access as she has joined our party. You will note that she is at level 1 and has 30 HP. So we need every benefit and bonus in order to make sure she stays alive, because we will be fighting no more battles until the next boss. And
She'll be fine.
yeah, that's what we're hoping. So by putting her in the back row and giving her the tiara, it gives her more survivability. Also, the true bosses of this game,
Yes.
NPCs, especially
There you go.
Kaipo.
Oh,
Yes.
that's
Trolled
low
by
guy.
all of them. Also to note, we do make sure to leave Kaipo on either the right or the left side, depending on which time we're leaving it, as it will affect which side of the town we appear on, which
Yeah.
is extremely important for
Yeah,
Step
the way he
Runner.
did that there basically saved him 2 steps that count towards encounters.
Yeah.
So in the town, the steps do not count towards the counter. Is that right?
Correct.
No. Yeah.
Okay.
So only inside castles, but towns you're safe, so that's where we're going to do our renaming.
All right, looks like we're in the 189 to 192 range.
Hopefully that's decent.
Come on, Arby's.
Yeah. So this is our lovely, hopefully soon to be Arby's. We will have many stories to tell you about him.
Yes.
But until then, I think
He
this
is both the best and worst character for several parts of this speedrun.
Yes, he is.
Yeah.
Yeah. So while we lament Tella, I think this is another good spot for some more donations.
All right. Well, Rivers, I have somebody who would like to wish you good luck, and I would like to pass on those greetings to you from the future Mrs. Rivers McCown.
Aw.
She donates $150 and says, Rivers, when I met you, I had never heard of speedrunning. And now I get to watch you make it look easy at AGDQ. I am so proud, and I can't wait to get married to you in June.
If you have access to his credit card, you can max it out on donations.
Wow, that was touching and then awful.
Thank you, Brosencha.
Oh, you're welcome.
So ideally, it's before you get to this cutscene trigger here that you figure out what your seed is.
Yeah, I think
'cause-
we got it. I think it's 189.
Okay, because this is usually if there are going to be extra steps, this is the first place where you could possibly take them.
Yeah,
so.
because there are no encounters in this room with the save point, but kind of like inside Baron Castle, if you take extra steps, it advances your step counters.
It's
so-
worth noting normally that we would hard reset and try to get some of the best seeds in the game, but this is console. It's console specific how that works. So we're not doing that
Because you generally need to have your console cool down for generally up to 15 seconds when you power it back on for it to start at 0 for when because the seed is set based on the frame you press A to close the title screen.
So you saw me take some extra walking there. It wasn't just because I was tired or anything. That's manipulating the step route, and you'll see probably a good number of steps on this seed about that.
So presumably he would have gotten into an encounter pretty shortly after leaving that save room, but then he skipped it basically because he pushed his step counter past that number where the encounter would have happened.
Yeah, so you're either dodging specific, like just general encounter numbers or specific encounter packs. So, because that sometimes you just want to dodge those really bad ones and get the kind of tamer ones.
It's true. One thing about this game compared to a lot of other RPG games is that there's not much grinding at all. Pretty much the experience that you get is going to come from bosses. So it gets really risky when you have back attacks or counter or any of the Yeah, those
Yeah,
ones.
because they're ambushes. Yeah.
Ambushes. That's what they're called.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you will note that Rivers
Oh, it's
did pick up.
Sandman with no sand.
Yeah.
I always love that.
So Rivers did just pick up the Darkness Sword, and there's two reasons for picking up that sword. The first is that the next boss, Octomam, is weak to the element on that sword. And second, it is the last sword upgrade you get until after Fabul. And we're hoping you don't notice, but you probably will, that even by Fabul, that sometimes the damage rolls from Biff are just atrocious. So we really need that sword.
No, I've never seen him do anything bad.
No,
Yeah.
they're always just top-notch.
And my interpretation of this game is canon.
So we're coming up on Octomam, the next boss too, which which once the speedrun route started including doing the mist clip and getting dancing daggers, that really changed the dynamics of how this fight works, because of the 3 party members that Rivers has right now, the only one that can actually equip and use the dancing daggers is Rydia, who's level 1 with 30 HP.
Wow, I've never seen her get hit before. That's crazy.
Yeah. And actually, she got hit for a very small amount of damage at this point.
Yeah, I believe 18, I think, is the highest number that Octomam can hit her for through the tiara.
Correct.
Yeah. So what you're going to be seeing here is Octomam with all the tentacles is actually the fastest boss in the game. And with every tentacle lost, Octomam starts slowing down. So it takes 3 hits to get rid of the first tentacle and 2 hits for every tentacle thereafter. You're also trying to manage the amount of HP that Octomam has, because that, you want to kill the boss as well. So the basic strategy is to equip the Darkness Sword onto Biff and attack, put the Dancing Daggers on Rydia and use them as an item, which is where you do upwards of over 200 damage. And for the first few turns, we're going to be using Lit 1 with Tella.
Classic.
And unfortunately, part of the strategy is to stop Tella, because after a few hits, he just generally becomes useless in this fight.
We need his help in order
Classic
to start
Octomam.
slowing down Octopus.
So
That's
yeah,
bad.
it's
That's
always
okay.
after you stop
Now
Tella.
all I have to do is hold A.
So
Yeah.
if he gets unstopped fast enough, which may happen, you could
It
bring
probably
Rydia.
will, just
Yeah.
because of no dancing dagger
You really do
damage,
want
yeah.
Rydia to get the levels from this fight, because again, we need that HP to survive future boss battles. As being our main damage dealer, being dead's really not helpful.
I love that before the miss skip was used in runs, she tended to be the weakest character here. Now she's the powerhouse.
Yeah, I think
Yep.
in the old route, you would actually want her to die here, too, just that more XP would go to Cecil.
Absolutely. Well, now Cecil's like, well, you do okay, but can we get our girl Rydia here? So until even once he's unstopped, we just parry, because again, he's not doing enough damage with his Lit 1, and he's not doing enough hits to help get rid of any of those arms.
Yeah,
So.
if you get really lucky with your damage rolls with the Dancing Dagger, it is in fact possible to kill Octomam before he runs out of tentacles, too. I've had it happen maybe like twice ever.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was a pretty trolly fight, really, just because of Rydia getting sniped kind of early, but
But it was good
that's
adjusting to the
that's
troll.
the way it happens.
Yeah.
It's the first time I've ever seen that happen, so I mean,
Definitely never happened
Yeah.
before.
You just wing it, I guess.
Yeah, Octomam's kind of the first serious boss battle.
Where there's any real kind of danger associated with it, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh yeah,
So-
she eats runs for breakfast.
Yeah, so we are changing our party order here to make sure that that will set us up so we don't have to change the party order again until much later in the run, about 30-40 minutes from now. So definitely less menuing is good.
Yeah, party order is actually very important in this game
Oh, yeah,
for
it's
speedrun
very.
routing too, because it actually has hidden effects on your character's stats in battle, along with their ATB recharge speed too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
the ATB
certain-
is the most important thing, but also the middle slot gets a real accuracy bonus to pretty much anything that happens.
Yeah, the middle slot is just generally the best slot.
Yeah. Also,
So-
we do have a certain cutscene coming up here that people might know about too.
Isn't this the one with the forks?
I thought I had the
You
knives.
swindler! Please listen. Yes, booty bad. Please.
So you will also notice that Rivers has been pausing in some of the cutscenes. That's really important for stuff at the later in the run. We're manipulating the in-game timer, which is with the big glitch at the end. It will be looking at a lot of different factors, and one of the big ones is the in-game timer.
Yeah, because
so,
whenever he pauses the game during battle, that also pauses the in-game timer. And if he does it during either like text like this or like a animation of some kind, he's not actually losing any time while it happens.
yeah, so long as you make sure to unpause in time for people to hit again.
I've never done that. Don't worry.
No, never.
Yeah, it really matters when it comes to things that depend on memory later on. And we'll definitely get to that.
No, it's fine. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
So this is a good time for donations. This
Really
is a
good
long
time.
cutscene. So
Okay, you guys are so good at talking that I've been trying to get donations. There's so much to say and explain. It's amazing. I thought I knew things about this game, but it turns out I don't. We've got $10 from the Roth, who says,
Hey.
Rivers,
Hey.
Rivers, get down.
Get down!
get to the chopper.
Nerd.
We've got $30 from Dr. Gamer, who says, hey, AGDQ, I am a medical resident and gamer. This is my first time donating to AGDQ, and I just wanted to say that you are all doing amazing things for the world. Final Fantasy is a series that I grew up with, and FF4 is among my favorite games of all time. Donation goes to Yang eating his vegetables like a good doctor would tell him to.
Aw.
Smiley face. And then we've got $101 from Eldonia, who says, FF4 hype. Wanted to wish Puddles Rivers McCone good luck on the run. Not only a great speedrunner, but a solid dude overall. We love you, brother. Take us to Crazy Town.
The meme will never die. By the way, the Roth is the current record holder world record holder for this category. He's got a 156.01. Working on improvement attempts right now. He's probably going to get the world record again pretty soon, looking at like 155. So
Oh, nice.
definitely a recommended follow if you enjoy this run and this game.
Very much so. You keep going.
Oh, thank you. I was just getting a little update on some of our donation incentives here.
Yeah, there are actually two different routes you can take to get through the first floor of Antlion's Cave, but they're identical for step count.
Yeah, but Dark Elf only wants you to take the bottom one.
Ah, true.
Truth. I do want to note there is going to be one singular chest we do pick up here, which is coming up, and that contains a life, which we refer to as our safety life. We need it just in case one of our couple of squishy characters gets caught in a back attack, because we need both of them alive again for levels and damage. So the game knows when you don't pick up the safety life. So especially in a marathon situation, we make sure to pick it up because you're passing that chest anyways.
Yep.
Yeah, because basically for both this dungeon and then Mount Hobbs, the next dungeon, that safety life can make a really, really big difference if he gets a nasty back attack on his way to the boss fight.
Yeah, I've had runs in before where going up Mount Hobbs, you just get both Rydia and Edward one shot, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Yep. I've had that happen too.
Yep.
I think it was called the Poexel Special for a while too, before it happened to other people too.
Yeah.
Now, Antlion has a special mechanic where it counterattacks your any damage that you deal. Well, not any
It's
damage.
damage
Any
with the fight
physical
command,
damage,
basically.
yeah.
With the fight
Yeah.
command.
So we're going to take great advantage of that because just so happens that when we use the Dancing Dagger as an item as we're using, it counts as a magic attack. So not only are we doing lots of damage, Antlion doesn't detect it and doesn't counter. So it doesn't matter that Rydia's at HP, like 8 HP, that's about 3 or 4 more than she actually needs for this fight.
Yeah, because all of the Antlion's danger comes from his counterattacks, not from his normal hit, which is very weak.
Yeah.
And yeah, one of the nastiest bosses in the early game is turned into a total joke because of that. I mean, just this one boss fight alone justifies the extra like detouring and stuff we have to do to get the dancing daggers
Absolutely.
easily.
I will note this is the 5-minute warning for the cutoff on the next set of names, which again is Rosa, Rydia, and Edward.
Get those the spoony debate settled, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then once Antlion is dead too, he doesn't want to get back attacks because if you get back attacked, all of the enemies are going to attack you before you can run away. I mean, and it wastes time, but it's not going to really screw up his routing or battle strats or anything if he gets back attacked on his way out of this cave because he gets a free heal before the next dungeon.
Exactly.
As long as he doesn't get tons of back attacks.
Wow.
I've seen terrible
So
things
the next question, are we going to be seeing a little visit to a certain special room here?
No, we're not.
Oh, okay.
Ooh.
Yeah.
So yeah, one of the rooms where we can end up taking extra steps is this one we're just passing. There's no encounters in there, so
That's a
we'll.
save point room.
Yeah, it's a save point room, so we'll often duck in. Sometimes, if you're really unlucky, both coming into the cave and leaving it to take extra steps. But we appear to be lucky this seed, so woo.
Hey guys, mind if I try and get a word in
Hey, mister.
edgewise?
Sure.
Oh.
Who is that?
Yeah, I don't know who that character is.
Yeah, I know. I'm not sure either. I just wanted to let everybody watching know that we have had a couple of incentives open up just recently.
Ooh.
And I want to get to those. So we met the Super Dram World 2 bonus game incentive of $125,000, which is incredible.
Holy guacamole. That is fantastic.
And so now what we want to do is open up a TaskBot showcase of Super Dram World 2. So that is a $25,000 incentive, and we currently have only $1,300 met. So get the money in for that if you need something to donate to. Also for Super Dram World 2, we can save or kill the baby Yoshis, and that is a bid war that you can see. So kill or save, that's your kill or save for this AGDQ. And let's get that money in and heat it up.
Yeah. Then a really subtle thing he did too is he actually created an empty spot at the top of his inventory for the Sand Ruby to go into after he defeated Antlion. So when he gets to Rosa here, he can just mash the A button and then use the Sand Ruby without having to do what a lot of people do, which is to first use a life on her and then realize that you used a life on her and then do it again and pick the ruby.
It's a good thing
Yeah.
I've been practicing.
I've
this
done
run.
that.
Right?
Yeah, normally you wouldn't have the safety life at all, so it would just slide in easily, but knowing that I was going to get it, I knew that I had to create some more spots.
Yeah. Also, I believe this was the cutoff for those names.
Yeah.
Yep.
Then this is also one of the reasons for why he set up his party formation the way he did too, because he like you mentioned, the character that's in the middle slot of the battle party gets, I think, a 50% bonus to their accuracy stat just because reasons. And for this particular fight with the Water Hag, how much HP does Water Hag have again?
I
Yeah,
do
Natar, how
believe
much
it's
does he have?
Yeah.
45,672 HP, because that's not too much for poor 71 HP Edward or anything.
Yeah. So we're going to be here for a while because
Yeah.
you notice how he just did 41 damage with his first hit.
Yeah.
And next hit does 33. So
But apparently, if
hopefully
he
we're going to be able to
himself-
make estimate here.
Just believe in yourself, Edward.
Be strong.
Mhm.
She's got a deep voice.
Yeah.
43. Hey!
Yeah.
Yeah, this fight is actually purely scripted too, so that when you just hit the Water Hag at all 3 times, then that ends the fight.
Back in the day, that fight actually used to be a run killer sometimes.
Yeah, potentially, just because before the Mist Clip and Dancing Daggers were put into the route, along with, I guess, probably just before either the accuracy bonus was like fully understood or just considered as part of the routing, you'd be having level 1 Edward, who would have died to the Antlion and stayed level 1, fighting Water Hag with his harp, which it's lower accuracy than a Dancing Dagger, and he wouldn't get that bonus.
Yeah, the PS1 remake has that old school way of doing it, of the JP way, and Catastrophic 4 has a video of him fighting the Water Hag for literally like 7 minutes.
Because they
trying to hit it.
And you
Edward
can actually
Yeah.
game over there
Names.
too
Yeah.
if you don't get the 3 hits before
Edward.
he kills you.
Give us Edward.
Edward's name, just one moment here, is Spoonie, capital on all letters.
All right.
Spoonie.
Woo, Spoonie!
Getting Spoonie. And Rydia.
All right, I'm jumping around here. Rydia's name is Bethus, capital Bethus.
All right. And then Rosa.
Rosa's name is Clage, capital
Yes!
Klaige. You know him, you love him.
I just want to point out that wasn't me.
It's okay, you're the prettiest, Clage. Oh no, you're getting
Wow.
trolled!
Yeah.
Oh, good.
The Kaipo NPCs always find a new way to troll.
Kaiba Hunk loves Cecil.
Do you not
Love.
push for some reason?
It doesn't help that much.
Oh, okay. I guess I'm just pushy, you know.
Yeah. So one of the hardest, or what can be a hard part learning this game is actually just navigating these shallows. They're just really awkward. And something that's really important for this particular category is parking that hovercraft exactly where we laid it, as it's one of the values the glitch looks at. But right now we have a really important problem, and that is that we have an ice wall, and we have a small child who refuses to learn fire as she is terrified. So thank goodness we have Rosa here, who is the world's greatest grief counselor, or just has the best cookies, and bribes our caller into learning fire. So thankfully, though, Rydia's never going to use fire again. So she goes through all this trauma and healing to learn Fire 1. Yay.
That's a great spell that we'll never look at again.
Nope.
It's fine.
It's fine.
I still love that if you level her up significantly, you'll learn Fire 2 and Fire 3, but never Fire 1 until this cutscene.
It's just the small fire she doesn't
so
like.
so like we mentioned a bit ago too, we did get a full heal after the cutscenes with healing Rosa, but he could still potentially have one of his dancing dagger wielders get sniped by a back attack, but which didn't happen. So.
She will actually not learn Fire 2, Ice 2, or Lit 2 until she comes back in the underworld. So,
All right, so now we get to meet our karate man here, and we have a fight that's totally under AI control here. But there is randomness to it as far as how quickly Yang kills these 3 imp captains, and it can take generally between 3 and 5 hits.
So usually you'd not pause buffer in this fight because it does manipulate the values, but in this case, the first set of values were bad from that kick, so if Rivers had not paused there, it would have extended the fight length to either 4 or 5 turns.
We did it, boys.
So,
we did it.
Now we've got a 3-turn Yang. Everything is as it should be.
Now for the real fight, too, with Mom Bomb, which is a 3-stage fight. For this first phase right here, he needs to do 800 damage, and he did a run buffer like back in Kaipo here in order to get Spoony to squeeze in a hit before Mom Bomb's first turn. And he's just kind of mentally tracking how much damage he's doing to get that 800 in like about a turn and a half, optimally. Yeah.
Make sure also to remove the items that Rosa currently has equipped. This doesn't matter so much for right now, but we are going to make sure to use those items for another glitch later. So,
and then Mom Bomb Phase 2, you actually don't need to do anything. She'll just explode after a certain amount of time, and he knows how long that takes, and then time to kick to go off right afterwards.
I think we hit the wrong bomb.
I believe so.
Oh, no.
Oh,
We're
no, we're good.
Look at us.
Yeah, Bethis and Spoony really need to be alive in order to deal tons of damage to the gray bombs.
Yeah, the gray bombs both have double the health of the red ones, and also do a lot more damage with their attacks, so those are getting taken out ASAP.
And as a bonus, we need Spoony to get the levels for the HP for the next battle. It is absolutely critical for him to have as much HP for Fabul.
Yeah, and this fight also was why it was so important for Rydia to survive both Octomam and Antlion too, so that she gets enough experience to be able to survive Mom Bomb's explosion.
That went really well.
Went really
it did.
well.
Mom Bomb is the first, actually scary boss fight of the run. It's a big run killer when you are learning.
It was a bad early Mom Bomb, but we recovered well.
Yeah, it looked fabulous. Because you can't spell fabulous without Fabul.
Jeez.
So this walk is one of the most dangerous in the game. There's a lot of back attacks, a lot of big formations, and a good chance to read donations.
Hey, I've got a few, and the big ones are starting to roll in here.
Oh, nice.
We've got $250 from Exoden. Good luck, Rivers. May Yang fully enjoy the vegetables we are unfortunately going to feed him. Better him than me, I suppose. Anyway, here's to ensuring Tella is named Arby's, as Square originally intended. And that is currently the leader for Tella's name at $3,300. So if you want to change that, get some money in there.
No, don't do that.
Yeah.
Can I continue on a bit?
A quick side, though, big shout-outs to Accident,
yeah.
the gentleman that just donated too, because he's a member of the Final Fantasy IV speedrun community that's personally contributed a lot to the routing for the step manipulation.
Absolutely.
Yeah, the website ff4.exiden.com is what pretty much everybody uses to kind of route their seeds and everything. So.
Well,
Yeah,
everybody did use until he just said it, and it's going to crash. But
Oh, no. Yeah,
it's for a good cause.
Do I still have time for some more?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
All right. We've got $750 from Lenning. Hey GDQ, incredible job as always. Final Fantasy IV is my favorite game of all time. I spent so much time on it as a kid. I will never forget the time my friend Mike darted my spoon against an imp and then saved my game. I was so angry. I'm quite frankly still angry. Anyways, I'm older now and more mature, so put this towards Palom and Porom being named correctly as Mac and Cheese.
Yeah.
Yeah, mac and cheese.
So he's not really. So Rivers isn't really in danger of death here, but you saw that attack right there where he had to sit through 6 enemies attacking him before he could run away.
It's the first back tab I've ever had in this game.
Yes.
That's crazy.
Yes.
Yeah, they're so rare.
It's only been a legend until now.
Only a GDQ, man.
Yep.
Safety save.
Yeah.
Hype.
Yeah, Fabul is a really dangerous section, and we'll explain why here now in a moment, but it makes it a very key, important safety save spot in a marathon setting.
Yeah, it's generally fairly consistent if you're playing very well, but there is enough RNG here that if things go badly early in the Fabul Gauntlet, as we call the series of battles coming up, it tends to snowball, as our friend on the
Oh,
end of the
come on.
couch here,
Edward
saw
was the
a couple
hero
years
of the
ago.
day, okay? Basically, everybody died except for Edward, and he just clutched it out. He managed to use those dancing daggers. Bam.
So that is basically the key strategy here. There are going to be 6 separate battles, and even though the battle music is playing, they are coded as random encounters. So for those of you not familiar with this game, Spoonie has an ability, we'll call it, where if he goes down into critical HP in a random encounter, then he will automatically hide, meaning he doesn't use any abilities, and he's our main damage dealer. So
I actually
that
messed
is,
up that fight, but it didn't
Yeah.
matter.
yeah, that is actually the kind of messing up which is ideal. If you can kill that soldier, the officer right away with the one shot, it is faster.
Yeah,
but
because these officer fighter
Yeah.
battles are by far the most dangerous of the
They are.
series, and he has to fight 3 sets of them.
You know what? That was a good call, Natara. That was RNG manipulation.
absolutely.
Absolutely.
You
We'll go with
totally-
that.
Yep.
Yeah.
So yeah, not only do we have to worry about Edward and his low HP, both of our healers are gone. We have no healing items, and we just have a three people
and
party.
you have no means of opening the menu between fights too.
Yeah, so it can get really scary, but again, it should be fine.
Yeah, this fight's basically a gimme, although he is trying to kill the water hag ASAP with Cecil, whose weapon does double damage to it, just because it gets pretty fast.
I'm glad that worked.
Yeah.
I was worried you were jinxing it as you were saying it.
What do you mean? Cecil would never roll low here.
No,
No,
never.
no.
He certainly couldn't get like a 12 or something like that.
Never seen it before.
The lowest he can do is 11, yeah.
All right, so we got the second set of fighters here.
Yeah, there are 3 sets of fighters in total.
So that's how you're actually supposed to do
Yeah,
it.
so we did a run buffer. I mean, this is actually really difficult to do in Battle Speed 1, as far cause just the amount of controller inputs you have to do the run buffer, get into Edward's item menu, select the dancing dagger, and then move the targeting cursor to the top or bottom fighter, all before the can't run text box disappears, is actually really, really difficult.
Yeah, and we have learned if you do hold up an A with the correct timing, then most of the time it will go straight there.
It'll buffer the inputs.
It'll buffer the
yeah.
inputs and attack the top guy.
Oh,
When it goes wrong, though, it can be pretty
Yeah.
disastrous.
So once he's past the second set of fighters without Edward hiding or dying, you can kind of start to breathe a little easier too, just because as long as Edward is there, these next 2 fights are pretty safe, and then you just have one more set of fighters before the end.
And what you saw there was him in the Yang's menu, moving around the Fire Claw. That was both initiating a item duplication, which is he will complete after the set of battles, and he put the claw back on the opposite hand, which doesn't ruin the duplication, but does ensure that Yang keeps his accuracy, which is what the claws give him. We're just heading into the last fight now.
Oh, Spoonie.
Spoonie!
Yeah.
Please.
Am I going to do it again? No, okay.
Nice.
It's hard to tell sometimes.
Yeah, if you're really, really, really fast with your input, sometimes you legitimately can't tell who you're throwing the dagger
See, this is what could
at.
happen.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Like if that happens on the first fight, I mean that's where
Very bad.
that's where the safety save might come in if Edward gets put into critical range, and then it's
Yeah.
really touch and go if you can actually survive or not.
If you have a choice between a dead word and a hide word, you always want the dead word. So now we are going into another kind of. It isn't an automated fight, but you don't. There's not much you can do here. The main goal is going to be to get Cecil into critical HP within 2 hits, and if we can manage to get Bifsari into critical HP.
Batman.
What? Yeah, we will skip some extra text boxes.
Yeah, and then the fact that he took nice, that's perfect Kane fight.
Nice.
Yep.
Clap for RNG.
Got you.
But he did actually manipulate the odds a little bit in his favor by taking off Cecil's shield as part of the and then selling it for the item duplication glitch earlier, just because that makes it somewhat more likely that either Kane will put Cecil into critical status here, or that Cecil attacking himself once afterwards will do it.
Yep. So this.
What you don't want to see is Kane having to jump again, just because that eats like, what is it, like 10 seconds or so?
15, yeah.
Okay.
This is a good time for donations. This is a long cutscene.
Okay. Oh no, Clage.
Come, Batman.
Unless you guys just want to, you know.
Banter.
Yeah, banter it up. No, just kidding. We've got $1,000 from Pendarin. Woo! With no comment, but thank you very much for that generous donation. We also have $1,500 from Nella Ross.
Wow.
Who says, what a fantastic event. I am super hyped for all the remaining runs, and let's see Dram 2, which we will.
Oh yeah. Clage. Oh.
I can't believe Batman would be so rude. Callous.
Well, I mean, Clage did play Batman back in the day.
Maybe a quick update on when our next round of donation incentive cutoffs are, too.
Yeah, absolutely. So the next 5-minute warning will be when Cecil becomes a paladin, spoilers, and during our long legend is when we're going to cut it off. So we will remind you again, and that'll be the cutoff for Palom, Porum, and Tella, and it will also be the cutoff for Yang eating the carrot, but I believe that's already been met, so
it has.
Yes.
Not a problem.
Yeah, and then also the walking path he took to get from the crystal room to this cutscene trigger here too can vary from run to run depending on what seed and step route you're on. There, like so there's certain when you're walking through the interior of Fabul Castle, it advances your step counter, but there's certain tiles that don't, like carpets, staircases, the front of shops, I think are the irrelevant ones here.
Yeah.
And he took a walking route that actually added 10 what we call optional steps to his step counter by dodging all of those special tiles that don't count.
Yeah, and making sure we had to complete the item duplication glitch now, as we do need that stack of fire claws as part of the glitch. And we did receive a new sword from the king, so we equip it right away, as the added stats from that sword help us get away faster from the encounters on Mount Ordeals coming up, which is good, because some of those are not very nice.
Yeah, I don't know why we need 244 fire claws, I'm going to be honest.
No.
But we'll
Sometimes you just need that many fire claws.
Just listening to all this has evolved so much. I just did this run because, whoa, look, glitches. Woo. But now it's like, gotta step on the carpet, gotta, like, wow.
Prosencha, you literally sound like Grandpa Final Fantasy IV. In a good way. Time for a couple?
Absolutely.
Sure,
yeah.
All right. I've got well wishes from a couple friends here. We've got $100 from Big Fong Balls, who says, to my man Rivers, I remember not too long ago you were some rando participating in the Pally tourney, and now look at you. Keep showing everyone what the results can be if you just keep working hard and you don't worry about all that extra other stuff. Best of luck on the run. Hello, Adam. Oh, I think that's to Plex
Hello.
over there. Yeah.
The
Nice.
legend. Thanks.
That one caught me off guard a little bit. And then we've got $100 from Velociraptor 42.
Oh, I like it.
Greetings from Back Couch, Germany. We're here watching the legendary Puddles McOwned Speed Fast, this amazing game of Final Fantasy IV. In all seriousness, though, good luck on the run, Rivers. Love you, dude.
So since this is a Final Fantasy game, you can't take any sort of mode of transport without coming against some sort of problems. And in this case, we have made someone very, very angry. And in this case, it turns out to be the Master of the Sea, Leviathan.
I really thought this would be the first time we get to Baron. Oh well.
Maybe next time.
Yeah.
Looks like he needs a tan.
Yeah, he really does. Well,
Leviathan.
that's why he's so angry.
This walk though. Okay.
Is it going to be good?
There's going to be a lot of enemies on the screen.
I was going to say, it doesn't look
I'll tell you
good.
that much.
So unfortunately, our people start going
Speaking of
overboard.
angry, too,
Yeah?
is it just me or did it look like Cecil just kind of pushed Yang off the ship,
Right?
too?
He deserved it. Didn't eat his vegetables yet.
Well, and that's why Edward just dives to the deck. He's like, no, I'm not going next.
Yeah.
He's like, I might have scurvy.
Yeah, Cecil was jealous of Yang's good rolls. He doesn't do that.
Nope. So instead, he gets to wake up completely alone. Poor
That's
guy.
a big beach. Also, he's really far away from the water.
Yeah.
It's low tide.
But hey, I'm sure there's a friendly town around to help him out in his time of need, right?
You can become a pig here.
You can, because if you remember from the very beginning of this run, Cecil and his crew were attacking a place and stealing their crystal. We're back, and they're not happy to see you at all.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
you're boosting their
they're okay with
economy.
us spending tons of money in,
Oh, yes,
in
they
their
are.
shops, though.
We're just
Yeah.
stimulating the economy, that's all.
Yep.
So yeah, he basically just bought both of the healing items that he'll need for the remainder of the run, along with I think some items as part of setting up for the big glitch too. You do have the opportunity to buy equipment upgrades for later characters here too, but his route doesn't need that.
Yeah.
Nope.
So they can still donate for Palamporum and Tella, right?
Correct.
Absolutely.
And
Yep.
Yang.
And, okay, Yang, that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll let you know when that's getting close, but you're good for right now.
So keep those donations coming in.
We
okay.
want to see mac and cheese, right?
Yes, please.
Kill mac and cheese.
Mac and cheese are currently in the lead
Yes!
for Salmon Forum by a fairly wide margin. If you want to disappoint some people,
No.
donate some money. Or if you want to secure their victory, donate some money.
So do you no longer buy the fire rod? Or fire rods in there?
No, we don't. We have the change rod for that.
Okay.
Yeah, and then he also skipped getting armor upgrades too that were in previous routes for this category.
Yeah.
Rob
you-
still uses those actually, but
okay.
this is something that I do that's kind of stupid.
If you're usually trying to be safe or newer to the run, you definitely pick up all of that armor. But
Yeah.
this is Rivers. He doesn't need armor.
Yeah, if
What
you're
is
using
it?
safer strats for the boss fights in Mount Ordeal too, you definitely want that armor.
Absolutely.
Both
lot
for
of tiny mages
both
around
for
here.
defense and for magic power too.
And so an interesting part about this particular map is the section right below Mysidia is actually one encounter rate, and this
Bleh.
section is a different encounter rate. So you will also notice that Rivers did seem to heartlessly murder one of the twins.
It's fine.
She just kind of looked at him funny, and she was just like, nope, no, we can't take that.
Well, she deserved it.
Yeah.
Well, the Elder left them with us, so whatever.
It's true. If the Elder is going to leave 2 5-year-olds with someone he doesn't trust, that's what happens sometimes.
It was his fault. Yeah. That's called child neglect right there.
He hasn't become
Yeah.
a paladin yet.
This is
It's
part of the
fine.
setup for the next boss fight, and optimally it would just happen naturally on your way across the overworld and up the mountain too. That a fast enemy or an enemy in a back or surprise attack would hit Porum. It doesn't have to actually kill Porum, but just do some damage to her.
Yeah, the Black Sword has a property that actually that KOs anybody who's kind of not immune to it, like bosses.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, sometimes when you bop her, she decides to fall down.
Which is no problem because when you bring her back with a Phoenix down, she's at an ideal HP level. So whether she gets hit by enemies or you kill her, both are great.
Get ready to struggle.
However, meanwhile, at the bowling alley,
At the bowling alley.
Meanwhile, in the Batcave.
so this is probably another good time for some donations.
Okie doke. I've got $150 from the wedding guests of Kage-sama and Yuni. I'm getting married in February, and my fiance and I decided that instead of party favors, we would donate on behalf of our guests. Oh, that's super nice of you.
That's
Aw.
really sweet, yeah.
Final Fantasy IV has always been one of my favorite games of all time, and we think you guys are all playing for a great cause, so thank you. Let's see here. We've got $44.44 from Jay Shelby, who says, Final Fantasy IV features friends facing fearsome foes for the fate of all. May
Wow.
fast fights and favorable fortune forever find you. Wow, that was tough.
That's great.
Because it's an FF game, all those
I
Fs.
get it now.
Yeah.
You see what they did there?
Got $125 from DBH Kasumi. Had to donate during my favorite Final Fantasy game of all time. Thank you again to all the runners, staff, and everyone who's a part of this wonderful community. Let's go for the new record for donations, and I'll see you again at SGDQ 2018.
Also, I want to note everyone's favorite character is back.
Grumble.
Who?
Yeah.
Who is it?
It's the twins. They're here.
No, no. No one likes the twins, okay?
And
Literally no one.
My favorite character is the trash can.
Yeah.
My favorite character is Dancing Dagger.
You can get some more donations.
Okie doke. We've got $1,000 from Fangamer.
Nice.
AGDQ has been a blast so far. Thank you to everyone who works so hard to put these events together. Let's go to Crazy Town.
Ooh. How close are we on Crazy Town?
Oh, it got met
It got
before
met,
we
yeah.
started.
Oh,
yes.
okay. Well,
It'll be, and it's going to be done after the run is over.
Yeah.
All right, so we could probably start maybe going over the upcoming fight.
Oh, absolutely. So the big thing about the upcoming fight, it's series of fights, but especially the first one, is we're going to be doing, or Rivers is going to be doing, what's called the Mimic Glitch. And we're going to give him a few moments of silence here for
Yeah,
the
because
setup.
he's doing it on both fights here with Mylon, the Fiend of Earth, but the first one is much tighter to execute.
Yeah. Yes.
yeah.
Okay, so we got that. So to quickly explain what that was, is we used the property of the twin command, which is one twin initiates the command and the other twin gets put into a mimic status. But when you kill one of the twins, after this has been initiated, as we did to Porum, the other twin, in this case Palom, gets locked in a mimic state and will just copy the person who goes directly before them. And in this case it was Biff, who we make half use an item and then swap it with the item that we want Palom to throw. In the first battle, that was Carrot. In this fight, it's going to be Trash Can. So, and it does involve Tella casting Stop on Biff, and that's why we were crossing our fingers. So we're going to do it again in this fight. The buffers are not quite so tight in this fight, though. So it's
Yeah, because the battle message speed actually gets slowed down automatically for this fight, so that makes the window to do a lot of the inputs here very
Yeah.
wide
So
compared
we
to the
see
first fight.
Palom is killing Porum, who is already initiated twin. And then Tella is going to try and stop Biff. Yes, successful. And because the item was half used by Biff, who is now stopped, Palom will throw whatever that last item was. And so those two items are not supposed to be used as items, as you can see. So
Yeah, yeah. When you use an item that's not programmed with kind of an actual use in battle, it has some pretty glitchy effects. When he used the carrot, which is normally an item you'd use to summon the fat chocobo, on Mylon, it actually cast the Fire 3 spell 8 times, but with no programmed animations. That's why you just saw the numbers appear. And then for the Trash Can, it casts the Holy spell, also known as White, 8 times.
So it does an excessive amount of damage. So since Mylon Z and Mylon are both weak to Holy, you can use Carrot on either one of them, but you can only use Trash Can on Mylon Z. So
And a big chunk of the times, because I mean, a big chunk of the time save for the first fight too is that you're actually you're killing him before he can do my body that he normally does after 2100 damage, and then skipping that death text is kind of a big part of why that saves time.
Just want to say 4 for 4, Trash Can, Carrot, GDQs. I retire.
yeah.
Those are not easy, by the way, too.
Especially
yes,
the one on
especially-
Mylon.
Especially the Carrot, too.
Yeah, it's incredibly difficult buffers. So this fight, if you're used to it from casual, is you're supposed to just sit there and learn the meaning of being a paladin, which is not fighting or something. But we don't have time for that at all.
We don't.
So Paladin Cecil or Paladin Biff can use a dancing daggers. So and Dark Knight Cecil only has 1,000 HP. So I think you can see what the strategy would be here. So with 3 or 4 or very rarely 5 hits, we can take out the Dark Knight. And I want to note this is also the 5-minute warning for the Palom, Porum, and Tela naming incentives.
One bit of thing that's probably good to point out too, actually, about the mimic glitch that we just saw, and we're going to be seeing it, hopefully seeing again for the Yang incentive too, is that it actually only works on the 1.0 version of the game too, because there's 2 different versions of the Super Nintendo cartridge for this game.
Oh.
There's a couple like minor differences, but the biggest one that affects speedrunning is that the mimic glitch got fixed on 1.1.
Yeah, you can actually get a pretty good time on 1.1 anyway. El Magus, who's doing the German restream, actually had some really good paladin times in the tournament doing that.
So not only does Cecil become a paladin here, which is the end of what is our paladin percent kind of intro category that we were talking about. It ends as soon as the message comes up saying Cecil has become a paladin. That's where timing cuts for that particular run. But Tela there, or hopefully a much better name, also learned a really cool spell called Meteo, and a lot of his other spells too. So he went from having 6 spells of both black and white, both all mostly useless, to having a full arsenal.
I believe
of
he just
magic.
knows every spell in the game other than Nuke and White.
Yeah.
And Quake, yeah.
Oh, okay. But yeah, see, but he's hard capped at 90 magic points, and Meteo costs 99.
Oh, Zombie Dance
wait,
Party.
Zombie Dance Party,
Oh,
though.
boy.
So one of
Yep.
the worst
Mount-
attacks you can get here because 7 zombies and you just have to sit and wait.
This is by far, this is not the worst back attack or
No.
ambush he can get
Definitely
on
not.
ordeals, too.
There's a few worse. There's some spirits and ghosts, I think they are, who cast fire. And while that's not so much bad damage-wise, it just takes so
takes a
much
lot of
time.
Yeah.
That usually happens when you hit Carrot and Trash Can. The game's just like, hey, you're doing too good. Yep.
And there we go.
Yep. But the formula the game uses to calculate odds for bad battle formations like this is kind of weighted based on your character's levels, though.
Yep.
So I mean, it gets worse at this point too, and Cecil gets rolled to level 1.
Correct, yeah. And for the rest of this run, pretty much, we have nobody fast either, so it's really difficult to run from battles, and the back attack percent keeps going up and up.
So we are just finishing a walk down the mountain, so we probably have time to squeeze in 1 or 2 donations here before we get into our next little explanation.
All right. We've got $25 from Fizz, who says, "Hey Rivers, just wanted to tell you both good luck, and we're all counting on you." Donation
Fizz.
goes towards making Yang eat that tasty carrot as he needs to get rid of that sneeze. We've got $20 from Millie Mozilla, who says, "It's so awesome to see FF4 in our community back at AGDQ, and who better to break it than the Tiger Dad himself? And that couch is legendary. Remember, Rivers, nothing is difficult if you're always perfect. Make us proud, feed Yang his vegetables, and don't go sailing with Cecil." From Millie and Glitter.
Yeah, so he did
Thanks,
pick up
Billy.
a second carrot there too, which isn't part of the normal route. That's going to be used for the Yang incentive coming up in a
Yeah,
few minutes.
and something really important is happening here. Luckily, that was a good chocobo.
It was,
Good.
yeah.
That was beautiful, no question. So the position where the chocobo left the screen was vitally important for the glitch at the end of this run. And thankfully, there is a really consistent backup for it, which Rivers has set up. But if we can get it first time, we don't have to spend that time. So we have a graphic which we use when we stream, which tells us where's a good spot and where's a bad spot, but a little difficult to use here. Also, this is the cutoff for the rest of the names.
Yep. This is and we're going to need that time because we're about to try to carrot Yang, which is nuts. Cuckoo bananas. It's a really inconsistent fight. We're going to save outside. It might take multiple tries. I'm just warning everybody now. This is what you donated for.
Yeah, because I mean the Yang fight is normally pretty inconsequential in a speed run because it's mostly a story fight where after Yang kicks you twice, when the next time I believe it's specifically Cecil attacks Yang, then Yang breaks out of his hypnosis and then the fight ends. But
And Cecil doesn't actually have to hit him; he can miss,
he
and
can
it
miss
will still
and
work.
it still works. But just like how Dark Knight Cecil only had 1,000 HP, and we could kind of short circuit the intended kind of play out of the fight, Yang in that fight only has 4,000 HP, which it's not easy to do that much damage in 2 turns, basically. But Rivers has a way to do it. Unfortunately, it does kind of require Yang to cooperate as far as like what exactly he does and how quickly he does it.
Yeah, the timings are incredibly tight, and the RNG is not very nice. So we're definitely gonna probably see it though.
Let's take these 14 extra steps here as if we're going to need them.
Yeah.
Yeah, because again, the seed for encounters gets set based on the frame that you close the title screen. So whenever you reset or start or reset the game. So if he does have to reset to redo this this Yang fight, that is going to change his seed. But hopefully, if that doesn't happen, then because that room right there,
Classic.
kind of it's the same tile set as a castle, and it does count as advancing the step counter. So we took some extra steps there to cut encounters in the barren waterway.
All right, it's only the thing I've been practicing for like 3 hours a day. No worries.
So the way this starts out, though, is we have to fight a soldier fight first. So, and again, generally this is a fairly inconsequential fight. However, the 2 people we usually don't care about living, we do have to make sure they live this fight. Oh, beautiful.
Yeah, we don't. If either of these guys attacks the twins, then that complicates the Yang fight. All right, here we go.
Nope. Gonna need to get lucky. Be gentle, Yang. Be gentle.
Oh, yeah.
And because Yang has so much HP, that doesn't actually finish him off. So
Easy every time.
yes.
Wow, very nice. And he's so healthy now.
And still on step route.
That's a load off.
That was not only difficult, but he had to get lucky too with
Yeah.
both with the turn order in the fight, and then also just how much damage Yang did to the twins with his kick.
That was actually the first time I've ever done it in a run and got it first try. Oh, that feels good. Okay, donations, please.
All right, we have got
No Ghost Girl, though.
$250 from Scenariox, who says, I've been watching AGDQ since 2014, donated last year, and now it's time to donate again. You guys and girls do an amazing job fighting this horrible disease, and seeing that almost $1.5 million has been raised brings teardrops to my eyes. We are getting close to that. I do want to take just a quick moment to remind you, we are getting tons of donations in do not worry if your donation doesn't get read out loud, because it is certainly being read by a number of caring people here. We're seeing all of them, appreciate all of them, no matter the size, so do keep them coming in.
All right, we got time for one more, and then we got to start the names.
Okay, we've got $150 from Neon Alpha, who says, Clage is the most beautiful priestess.
Aww.
All right, so we need renames for Tella, Pelham, Porum, and Yang.
Which one first?
Pelham.
Palom is going to be Mac.
Yes!
With capital
Yeah.
M.
Sorry, I'm excited.
Okay, Porum.
Porum is capital C, cheese.
Yes!
Very surprising. And give me Yang.
Yang is capital H, happy.
Happy. Held on. Okay, and then Tella.
Tella is in all capital letters, Arby's.
Yay! You made the right choice, America.
I'm so happy. Okay, this.
No. Yang's happy.
Yes.
Well, okay,
Yang is
Yang's happy.
Yeah.
So now that we have picked up the Baron Key, we do have access to a few more spots here, and that means it's shopping time. So making sure to pick up those headbands and karates, as we are going to need to equip them, and just some random other items. Just don't even worry about it. We just need 8 Thunder Claws, 48 Ice Claws.
He's got all this cash. You
Yeah.
might as well do something with it.
We just really like claws, and might as well get them in all shapes and sizes.
Now, a lot of the inventory was set up so that there is easier management when it comes to actually equipping stuff. Purchases matter for other things, though. Just glitches and stuff.
I mean, when you have that much money, you might as well spend it, right?
Yeah,
Buy a condo.
Claws make great stocking stuffers, too.
Yep.
Seriously, it's like, you can buy a house, but you're like, I've got all these claws sitting around.
Well, hey, what do you think the people of Mist think? They've just got all of these iron shields. They're going to build the entire town out of iron shields. This is another good wall for donations.
Okie doke, I've got a few. We've got $169 from Specialist Nelson, who says, Games Done Quick got me through 2 deployments to Afghanistan and Iraq, and soon I'll be completing my term of service. I can't thank you all enough. And by the way, hey bro, sent ya.
What?
What do you call a pub that's all out of forks?
What? I don't know.
A spoony bar.
Oh. Okay.
That was
Even
beautiful.
the audience is booing that.
That was beautiful. Don't listen to them. It was beautiful.
We've got $500 from Bo180. This donation goes out to my little lady who gives me lots of hugs every day. I couldn't miss this chance to donate and save the baby Yoshis. And I've got $120 from Anonymous, who says, here's to killing the baby Yoshis. I can't think of a better way to use my first donation. Also, that Bandai Namco prize looks pretty sweet. And that's a reminder, when you are filling out your donation page, make sure to apply your donation to put yourself in a running for one of the great prizes that's currently available. And just let me take a quick moment here to give you an update on that Yoshi bid war. We've got Save the Baby Yoshis at $1,110, and Kill the Baby Yoshis is at $610. So
Wow,
get your
Save
money
is
in there.
winning?
Save is winning
That's
right now.
weird.
Yeah.
And Super Dram World 2 still needs about $20,000 to complete, so dump your money towards those guys.
Yeah. So Rivers just put on some of the upgraded equipment that he bought in Baron, like the headbands and karate armors, both increase characters' strength, which matters for punching bosses. But he also cast Cure 4 a couple times with Tella in a special way, and if you were astute viewers might notice that Tella now has Box Corner or Boomerang 06 listed for his MP. And well,
I'm sure that's inconsequential.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably just a minor graphical glitch that happened just because you were just too fast for the game.
Yeah, definitely.
Game just can't handle it.
I'm sure nothing strange will happen in this fight at all. It'll be just as intended.
Yeah.
Especially for Mr. Wiggle Arms himself.
Yes, I'm a huge fan of this guy on the 3D remakes
Me
of this
too.
game too, where he
Yeah.
does this kind of little dance with his snake
He
hands.
looks like he has
Beautiful.
bad posture, though. Like, look. It's all slouching.
So you are going to notice that we are purposely killing off the poor mac and cheese. That is on purpose from all throughout the route, but especially from this point forward. We're going to be really concentrating on experience routing, both for the characters who are in our party and for our currently invisible shadow party of people.
Wait, what? What?
What? Oh my goodness! What spell is this? So what Rivers did earlier with the Boomerang 06 was actually underflowing and overflowing Arby's MP to just overuse the spell, and rather than going into the minuses, the MP just rolled right back around to a huge amount.
Yeah, I believe it's around like 65,000 MP that he currently has, but when he's in this glitched state, he can actually only use magic during battle.
Yeah, but
which is going to matter a bit later.
It is definitely, because there are times we are going to have to remove that state. But for right now, hello, Meteo.
Yeah, he's a bit of a glass cannon in multiple ways.
Because as we kind of hinted at earlier, Tella does have the Meteo spell in his spell list, but he's not ever supposed to be able to cast it because it costs 99 MP and he's hard capped at 90.
No, it's because it kills him.
Yeah.
That's
what?
why
He looks fine to
What?
me. What?
Rookie there, he's helping.
I don't know. I think he's limping a bit.
So what he's hoping for, so yeah, this is Kanazo, the Fiend of Water, who's basically the easiest Fiend in the game because he's weak to ice or lightning, depending on which form he's in. You just learn the strongest spells in the game with Tella for those elements. And
Oh my goodness.
yeah, if he gets really lucky, he can actually just kill him outright there. And if he'd have actually bought some better armor for boosting magic in this city, he could generally guarantee it. But
that was a particularly low roll, even for
Yeah.
Tella.
Yeah.
And this is why whenever we're talking about Arby's or Tella, we're just like, please, because he has a frequent tendency to roll low and to just flat out miss spells.
Come on, Arby's.
You could do it.
No, Kanazo.
Thankfully.
Honestly, there's nothing that you can do about this. Just, hope that you don't get a low roll, and if you do, then
Just do it again. If it's high enough, you can hit, get some extra hits in with Biff and Yang, and or Happy, I should say.
and
And
it's kind of worth noting too that the reason that Wave did comically low damage the second time is because the damage is based,
Of course.
is based on how much HP Kanazo has.
it's always when you don't need it. It does the correct amount of damage.
So I believe that would have been a one-shot if you'd have gotten that roll
Yes,
the first
exactly.
time. Yeah.
Naturally.
man, Arby's is leveling up though.
It needs those levels.
All right, this is one of the longest cutscenes in the entire run.
Yes,
It's
it
a
is.
great time for donations.
All right. On that note, I have $444 from Sid's Beard.
Oh,
The timing.
Was kind of waiting for that one. Got $150 from Brad and Becca Boo, who say, donating because too many people in our lives have been affected by cancer. Thank you, GDQ runners, staff, and everyone watching for making this such a great event. Good luck to Rivers McCown on his upcoming F4 run, or currently ongoing. Donation to Edward's name being Spoonie, which that happened. This was a donation from the past. We've got $100 from Solid Mecha, who says, had to donate for one of my favorite game series. Let's find the Ultima solution to prevent cancer. Best of luck to you on the run, Rivers, and let's help get Yang eat healthy, which, again, he has already done.
Miraculously. Thanks.
We've got $90 from Dode-sun, who says, my father is a colon cancer survivor thanks to early detection. Also, FF4 was my first FF that I ever played, so I had to donate during this run. Money goes to Runner's Choice. I've got $125 from Gramora. Hi, Rivers. Hi, Natara. Hi, Brosencha. Hi, Puexel. Hi, AGDQ crowd. Let's say hi back.
Hi.
sorry, I'm just really happy because I hate the twins.
So happy to see one of my favorites run again here for a great cause. Bursk, Rydia, watch out for Mylon Z. Oh, and make Yang eat his vegetables. Good luck on the run.
I was wondering when Bursk Radio would come up. Yeah.
Man, even Arby's doesn't help. That's so sad.
Arby's can't solve mac and cheese.
No.
Arby's helps everything that I have, though, okay? Feel sad? I'm hinking Arby's, okay?
Okay to keep going?
Yes.
Oh, sorry.
yes.
Go ahead.
Please.
We're just going to talk over you. No worries.
No worries, that's fine. $25 from Swimmy Leone. On top of being a great runner, Rivers wrote a huge, detailed guide explaining everything about how to run this game, and he's personally super nice to new runners. Thanks for all your help. UptCo, a supernatural abstraction for everyone. Good luck.
Thanks, Whitney.
It's where the ups go.
Right?
I've got $50 from F. Coughlin. I just want to tell you both, good luck. We're all counting on you.
Yes.
The,
I was waiting for that one.
Yep.
the Chocobo was good. Surely you can destroy Zeromus.
I'll think about it.
$100 from Onosaurus. Hello, everyone. Onosaurus here from the from TaskBot. I can't wait to see TaskBot beat Super Dram World. I'm sure it will be a perfectly normal playthrough with no shenanigans. None whatsoever. Shoutouts to Dwango AC and the whole team who put many hours into making this run possible. Also, shout out to Grand Pooh Bear, who is one of my favorite streamers. Let's beat cancer with video games. Got $120 from Quigley Bard, who says, my siblings and I have been watching GDQs for several years. This year has hit home more than past years as our father was recently diagnosed with colon cancer. He has since won his fight and is now cancer-free. This donation goes toward making this the norm for everyone going forward. Good luck with the runs, and thank you for all you do. Also, just want to take a quick moment to remind you of a couple of bid wars we have going on for the Link to the Past randomizer, which is actually coming up after this. Which is to make the run valid or invalidate it. And currently Validate is winning with $10,300. Also, you can choose the character sprite for the randomizer. And currently Mog the Moogle, very related to our endeavors here, is winning with $5,153. But Zelda and Dark Link are currently in a hot battle for second and third place at around $4,380 apiece. So if you want to choose one of those, get that money in.
All right, MLG.
Come on.
Come on.
Yeah!
Most important part of the run right
Yep.
there.
Yes.
Hardest landing.
Yeah, because that's a one-tile wide landing zone, and actually doing it
man.
without stopping is not easy.
I miss these ladies, and I miss these frogs. It's a good place.
Yeah, so this is actually something that Rivers is paying attention to right now, is depending on the NPC movement, you can tell where all of the NPCs are kind of going to move on a cycle. So by paying attention to where those frogs are moving, we can hopefully see where the chocobos are all going to be wandering in the next section. As for anyone who's played this casually, or even speedrun it, trying to catch a black chocobo in the forest upcoming is not easy.
Yeah, myself, I-086 came up with the this kind of way to read the NPC movements. Unfortunately, it's not 100% reliable, and we got one of the seeds that's kind of off, so it's going to look a little weird probably.
That's fair. So we did find Edward again, except now he is Bedward. And he has given us a harp, which we will take and leave quickly. So now that we want to use the exit spell, we do use an ether on Tella to get rid of the underflow status. And we are just going to warp right out of here.
Yeah, because again, when his MP is glitched out, he actually cannot use magic from the field menu. So we had to fix that glitch in order to both warp out of here and also the Dark Elf's cave coming up.
Just going to do this for safety. No big deal.
Yeah.
I've been told also that we are getting quite close to meeting our donation high water mark for the AGDQ 2015, which was 1.57 million.
Yeah.
So let's see if we can top that during this run. I think we can do it if you guys just get those donations in. Okay. So let's shoot for it.
Beat.
And on that note, I've got $1,000 from Nick 119, who just says. First he says clap, 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 and then he just says love.
Aw.
Yeah,
I like
thought that was nice.
Oh, yeah, by the way, I think it's completely reasonable for us to get to 1.5 million by the time this run is over.
I'd like to see 1.5 million before he beats the next boss.
Absolutely.
Personally.
So speaking of this current cave, the weird mechanic on this one is that you're supposed to de-equip all of your metal armor. Otherwise, you get put into a paralyzed status. So you can't see it because we're currently trying to run from every battle, but every character except for Sid is currently paralyzed. So
yeah, that's what we don't want to see.
No, it's not.
Yeah. Those mages can use a stop attack on you, and if they back attack you and then use it on Sid, it's not a guarantee guaranteed game over, but it's a guaranteed major time loss and possibly a game over if they then manage to kill Sid before it wears
Absolutely.
off.
He's
Yeah,
the only reason
you
you
basically
can run.
sit there for like 30 seconds.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, he's the only thing keeping you running right now. So you need him not paralyzed.
All right,
or
so now we're
stunned.
hoping for the power of Kane to protect us in these last sections of the cave too, or
Come on, Batman.
yeah.
Batman.
I'm glad you stole Batman's gloves.
I was gonna say, what are you talking about? There are no bats here.
Oh yeah, that's right. There are no bats
No
here.
bats in this cave.
I've never seen them.
Nope.
I've never seen a back attack to like how many bats?
Was waiting for the next one to be to be one.
This is the first time ever.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's what we keep kind of talking about here is that this cave is home to arguably the worst encounter formation in the whole game for any speedrun category to get back attacked by, and it's a group of 6 cave bats, which he managed to dodge even encountering at all, much less
Yeah.
getting back attacked.
There really
by,
are no bats in this cave.
That was a really generous walk.
It was.
Yeah.
So remember that iron glove we stole from Kane earlier? Well, we are finally going to put it to some good use here.
Yeah, it's got a grapple gun built into it.
Yep, and give him some good protection.
Does it have a battering?
Well, it's Sid. It probably does. Oh no!
Wait, what?
Oh, the run's over.
Reset. So that is, you cannot win that battle. Dark Elf really destroys your party. So rather than waiting for him to kill you, if you just make sure everyone is wearing metal when you walk in, you just automatically die and go to the next
It does,
cutscene.
however, sadly cut out one of my favorite bits of dialogue, which is me attack you.
Yeah. The Dark Elf is the true hero of this game, by the way.
Yes,
he
he is.
manages to take the crystal, and nobody would have gotten it if not for that meddling Cecil.
Can I read a couple donations as Edward plays his, or Spoonie, pardon me, plays his touching song?
Now that you've said his name correctly, yes, you may.
Thank you so much. We've got $200 from Penguin8R, who says,
Yes.
"Good luck to Rivers. Looking forward to many tele-life moments."
Thanks, Penguin. Appreciate that.
And I've got $30 from Nirm. A truly
Yeah.
impressive run so far from a truly impressive speedrunner. Rivers has always contributed a lot of blood, sweat, and tears to the FF4 community, and it's awesome to see him able to showcase his effort, knowledge, and hard work. Hoping the run continues to be fantastically done. Got $250 from Crazy Carl, donating during the run of the first Final Fantasy I ever played. Still have my SNES cartridge. Congrats to the AGDQ staff and runners for putting on yet another great marathon to help stop cancer. And then I've got a quick question. See if you guys have an opinion on this. $120 from Jim Bradfield, who asks, "Question for the couch. You seem like the sort of folks who play a lot of FF4. Which version of FF4 would you recommend for someone playing the game for the first time?"
PSP.
Yeah, PSP or PC, I would say.
Yeah.
Oh,
Not
he's
PC.
trying to turn his life around.
Yeah. Me change.
Change for the better.
So one of the things we do want to note about this fight is, for some reason, when Dark Elf switches form, he doesn't have the usual boss flags for making him immune to things like weak. So we greatly abuse this and very quickly take care
Yeah,
of it.
because what weak does is it reduces the target's HP to single digits. So
Yeah.
once you hit him with weak, anything will finish him off from there.
Yeah, we did make sure to kill off the character on our side who got weaked, again, for experience routing.
Yeah, because I don't think we've actually mentioned the Shadow Party too, because the way experience works is that it gets pooled when you win a fight and then divided up among all living characters at the end. But then a share of that experience also goes to characters that have previously been in your party, left, and are coming back, and most notably Kane or Batman, who a lot of the routing for this kind of mid-game part of the run is designed to get Kane to rejoin us at level 19, which is an integral part
What a nice
of some,
chocobo.
That was.
of some of the boss strats after that.
Yeah, so speaking of more glitch manipulation,
We're just going to park here for some completely random reason. Don't worry about it.
he just lives hanging out in that forest. And we like walking through forests, too.
Got like good Geshel greens or whatever they ate in this game. I don't
Yeah.
know.
I
Was this
believe they
before
kept
greens
it.
were invented?
Yeah. like carrots.
And then he's stepping off the carpet here for step manipulation. 'Cause just
Oh,
like in
now we're off the carpet.
Just
Yep.
like in Fable Castle, the carpet does not count for the step counter, but the cold, hard stone does.
Yeah, and it's particularly important here because the next dungeon we're going into is really bad for back attacks, and really nasty ones at that. So we want to be on step route as much as possible.
Batman.
Batman.
And here?
Occasionally I hear the voice of Batman.
You know, this actually works. It works out really well, but he's named Batman, I think.
Oh, I like it.
Yeah, we're seeing the bat signal right now.
All right, we're saving right here. Because this is just such a tough dungeon, and we'll cure up Cecil as well.
Yeah, I mean, there is a kind of a noteworthy increase both in difficulty of monsters here and also odds of getting back attacked. So it is very much possible to just flat out die here if you get really lousy luck and aren't really conservative with your healing.
Yeah, for the marathon's sake, we will be as conservative as possible. If this was a PB attempt, we'd just be crossing the fingers.
Time for a couple donations.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah.
Okay, I've got $50 from Vanny Van. Hey guys, Vanny Van here. Had to donate in honor of our community's favorite Tiger Dad. Good luck on the run, Rivers. Put this donation toward Runner's Choice. Also, hey bro, sent ya.
Why?
I had fun hanging out with you at our RPGLB, and I'll see you guys again in May.
Okay, stop faking me out, okay? Like,
Draw the line in the sand right here. This stops now. Thanks, Marty.
yeah, if you're gonna start, like, go all the way, okay? You actually have the pun there.
You heard the man.
Yeah. So
Keep
before
those-
we get to
those
the
bumps
before
coming.
we actually go to the bosses here, we are going to be stopping here to fight this optional fight here with the flame dog, because the treasure we get from this fight, a flame sword, is a pretty significant upgrade in damage output.
Yeah, and even though this is just a random encounter in a chest, this encounter does end a lot of runs in this category.
Yeah, and
So
he's also setting up for duplicating the flame sword as part of the fight too. Kind of the same way he duplicated the, well, similar way that he duplicated the shadow shields at the very beginning of the game.
yeah. So once again, setting up the MP underflow for no reason.
And also kind of using the fact that you have to, or that the optimal way to do it involves casting Cure 4 just to heal the damage you took from the Flame Dog, too.
No, probably time for some more donations here before the next boss.
Yeah, we're just hoping to not get owned by back attacks, because there's even some, like, aren't there some fights, too, where even if it's a normal battle, you can still get hit before running because of how underleveled you are?
Correct, yeah.
Yeah.
That was a bit of the commentator's curse there.
Yep.
Not bad.
We've got $300 from Anonymous. Congrats, Rivers, on all your hard work. Nuke Glitch is definitely going to be worth it. Have an awesome run.
What's Nuke Glitch? Who? What?
I've got $25 from Jim Starkiller, who says, shout out to the man Puexel on the couch, whose FF4 and FF6 runs on Twitch introduced me to the wonderful world of speedrunning. Thanks for always being such an informative streamer, and for taking time to answer all of my noobish questions, like, what does RNG stand for? RNG stands for Raspberry Nummy Gummies.
Ooh.
Delicious.
Sounds tasty.
Yum.
Thanks for the compliment. No thanks to the back attack.
Okay, good.
Okay.
Because, yeah, you see how much damage these attacks are doing. This is why he's going to be healing after every fight, just because just a couple of these in a row and you're dead.
Yeah, when you have the Paladin Shield, which is one of the things I didn't actually go out of my way to get because I'm stupid, it actually helps you a lot for this segment, but yeah, the way this is set up now, we've pretty much got to heal every time.
Yeah, maybe this might be a good time to talk about the back row glitch too, since I know you used that on the Dark Elf, and it's going to matter for.
Yeah,
For
Natara, do you want to
Alice.
explain that a little bit?
Yeah, so one of the glitches that is in this game is when you are equipped with a back row item, even after unequipping that item, you do not lose the back row principle and properties there, but you
And
still
when we
keep
say
the
back
full
row,
damage.
that
Yeah.
means doing full damage. From
Yeah,
the back
full
row.
damage from the back row. So what we did is we took the bow and arrow from Rosa in the Mom Bomb fight, and we have equipped them on Paladin Cecil, who has the ability, and then removed them and put the fire sword on him. So by by doing that, we can stick Cecil in the back row with the fire sword, and he will do the same amount of damage with that sword as if he were in the front row. So where he also has the cover ability, it allows him to more effectively protect the other characters in the run, especially Tella in fights like this. And also he does get to do full damage when in the fights where he will be fighting, which is not this one.
Yeah. Cover actually automatically happens with characters that are in critical HP, but you can use it manually from the menu to cover regardless of that.
Yeah, and in fights like this one where it's really critical that characters like Arby's stay alive, you definitely want to use cover and cure where you can. Also doing some inventory management here, just tidying things up since we have to sit and wait anyways. And oh hey, another Meteo.
We do have just under 9,000, or just over 8,000, I guess, now, until we hit the 1.5. So, oh, we're so close.
Yeah.
I do think we need the audience to yell in mourning for what happens to our beloved franchise in a little bit, though.
Yep.
Yes,
Ready
go
for
ahead.
tragedy.
I'll probably remove my microphone so you don't, you know, have too much of it come across.
So as we were told by the plot, apparently Arby's only has enough MP to, or doesn't have enough MP to, or vitality to cast Meteo. So apparently bad things will happen if he does so.
Yeah, if you're just tuning in to the reason he's pausing the game during certain fights too is actually to pause the in-game timer, which is going to matter in a very major way later in the run.
The only thing that's wrong right now is that I have to fix my inventory. When I did the care glitch, it actually was a little bit too fast for me. So I kind of got screwed up. So along the way, I'll be trying to fix things. Spending the entire life of Arby's to defeat you.
No Arby's! No! Why?
No, why?
I think a fun bit of lore for this fight too is that Tella's magic stat or something is very glitched out here too, and like the normal spells he's casting do chip damage, which wasn't really intended.
Yeah, they made Golbez double weak to holy, so since Meteo has that element, yeah, that's the big reason, even though Tella doesn't have that much magic stat. So this is a good time for donations.
Cool. On the subject of meeting AGDQ 2015's donation goal, or a total of $1.57 million, we've got people who are starting to dump some money toward that. We've got speaking of the twin attacks that were used earlier, we've got twin donations here. An anonymous donation of $1,000 that says, "Let's get that to 1.5 million mark." Donation goes to Runner's Choice. And let me follow that up with a $1,000 donation from Dubanka that came right on the heels of this. Oh no! Oh no!
Arby's! I loved your turnovers!
Oh my!
Can I get some applause from the crowd? That was great.
But we have Batman now. Who needs Arby's, right? Right?
Batman is here.
Batman.
Batman can't replace Arby's.
As I was saying, you silly heads.
Sorry.
I believe your term is silly goose.
No.
We had two twin donations for $1,000 apiece.
Yes.
One from Anonymous and one from Dubanka, who both basically said, "Let's hit that 1.5 million." And then we also had $600 from Anonymous. Said, "It wasn't that long ago it seemed like surpassing $1 million at an AGDQ was a crazy idea, and now it's almost past 1.5 million and still going. It seems like reaching $1 million is almost a given with an AGDQ, but of course it's not. It relies on everyone's contributions, which is what makes these events so great. And let me remind you that although I'm reading some big donations right now, every single $5 donation counts. So whatever you can give, put that toward it, and let's reach that next milestone of 1.57 million."
All right. All right, so now it's time to start setting up for the fight with Valvalis, the Fiend of Wind, and he's putting on the duplicated Fire Sword along with some strength boosting gear on Kane, and then he also revived Yang and Sid, but didn't actually heal them, and that's to keep them in critical HP so that Cecil will cover them if they get physically attacked by Valvalis.
Yeah, we do want to note that Kane did join us at level 19, which is the level we were aiming
Batman.
for. Sorry, that Batman joined us at level 19, so this fight goes very differently if we don't get him to that correct level. So, but everything should go well speed-wise, at least, that way.
This is a really, really technical strat he's using for this fight, too, that I actually honestly don't fully understand, too, so...
Yeah, basically by having Happy set up that first attack a little bit late, we continually abuse the ATB in this battle, and always during something, somebody else is casting something, or, you know.
Yeah, and I believe the net result is a guaranteed 2-cycle kill on Valvalis, too.
Especially if you keep getting those damage rolls from Batman.
I've seen it fail one time out of, like, since we started doing this.
Because before this, it was very dependent on Kane's jump rolls, jump damage rolls, as far as whether you can kill her before she tornadoes a third time or not.
Batman.
Batman.
Love Batman.
Yeah, and one thing you'll definitely notice is we did use slow on Valvalis twice. Many of the bosses in this game aren't immune to slow, so we take advantage of that.
Yeah, and slow can actually be stacked up to 3 times, too.
So yeah, we do it twice here, and then Clay gets designated to keeping Biff as healed as possible so that he can continue to cover everybody else who is about to die.
Now we're going to have our stone statue of Batman finish the job. Or not, I guess.
Nice.
Awesome. Even in casual playthroughs, that boss fight is extremely stressful.
Yeah.
Especially if you don't use slow, too, because she's constantly trying to turn you to stone and cast weak on you and stuff.
Yeah, slow doesn't actually change the ATV very much, but for whatever reason, in the fights where there's like a transform animation, slow really impacts how quickly that comes up. And we don't use slow a lot in the speedrun, but one of the cases is just right here, because this boss, if you can keep the transform attacks a little bit slower, then you can consistently get it out of tornado before it does weak again. So, donations.
Yeah. I've got $50 from Andrew, who simply says, Arby's, no.
No! Please send more donations as memorials to Arby's.
Poor bro sent ya.
Because I will miss him forever.
I've got $1,000 from Anonymous.
That's the way.
I lost my father to undetected pancreatic cancer this year. Hopefully this donation helps other dads. Also, save the baby Yoshis. I've got $200 from the Argon Game Crew, who says, fight cancer and save the Yoshis.
Wow. People like these Yoshis.
We've got $123.45 from the Fan Gamer, who says, so nice to watch Final Fantasy IV played and explained by the experts. Great couch commentary and loving the hilarious names that won the bid wars. P.S. Tomato says hi.
So I'm going to take one name on my own since Sid wasn't on here. And since I am about to marry an engineer, I believe we can give Sid a more appropriate name. A subtle tip of the cap. Thank you for not getting too angry about the silliness and all the time it takes up.
Keep them coming.
Okie dokie.
Oh, yeah.
Got some delicious cutscenes here.
I've got $30 from Silver Moon 9000, who says, great games, great prizes, great people, and a great cause. Keep up the good work.
Also, shout-outs for not throwing a life down the well first, too.
Yep.
Well, yeah, that's happened a few times.
Yep.
I've got $150 from Patrick Hartemink. This is the first time I've ever donated to an AGDQ. I sadly lost an aunt a few months back because of cancer. It's such a nasty disease that has no right to exist anymore. So let's break last year's record. Greeting from the Netherlands. I've got $30 from Acklerin, who says, I can't believe AGDQ is almost over. At least I'll have a bunch of VODs to keep me busy over the next few weeks. Here's for the TaskBot playing Super Dram World 2. And that incentive is currently at almost halfway met at 12,500 out of 25,000. So keep that coming. I've got $200 from Argon. Oh, no, I already read that one. Pardon me. I've got $250 from Rakuen, who says, Hey, bro, sent ya.
What?
What would you call Cecil if he were friends with Din from Legend of Zelda?
I don't know.
You'd call him a
pal of Din.
A paladin pal of Din.
Oh my gosh.
Seriously, though.
You actually caught that one before it slammed you in the face.
Oh, the Boo Birds are out now.
Seriously, though, this year's AGDQ has been amazing, and the gameplay and commentary for FF4 has not disappointed. Keep up the good work, everyone, and let's break that 2 million mark again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, a lot of people at this point are probably looking at the fact that we're about an hour 45 into the speed run, and the estimate for this is 2 hours and 23 minutes, and we're maybe at this point like about 2/3-ish of the way through the main story. But as far as how we're actually going to be finishing the game in like roughly half an hour from now, well, the kind of the final bits of setup are about to begin here.
And in trying to help towards that, we've decided Cecil needs leg day. So we're going to be doing some stairs. 63 flights of stairs, to be exact.
Yeah, because every time he's going up these up or down, even though he's going down the stairs here, it actually is increasing the floor counter that the game uses to trick mostly for the purposes of the warp spell, which sends you back one floor.
They didn't think that people would try and go up and down stairs enough, so they're like, nah, we'll just have it increase every time.
Well, I mean, I'm not going to do it.
Yeah. Boy, were they wrong.
I was going to say, like, 2 flights of stairs, I'm done.
Yeah. So you can probably fit in another couple donations here.
Okay, I've got $200 from TFT, who simply says, thank you for the awesome runs. I've got $25 from Chad Atchison. I dedicate this donation to my father. While testing a cancer screening machine at work, a small mass was found on his kidney. It turned out to be cancer. After surgery to remove the kidney, my father has been cancer-free for going on 5 years now. Cancer screening and prevention are the first steps to eliminating this horrible disease. Thank you to GDQ for this event, and keep up the great work. $500 from Grogs. Greetings from Scotland, from the Grogs family in Scotland. We have all been looking forward to GDQ this week, and it has not disappointed. Amazing work by amazing runners for an amazing cause. $150 from Johnny Hotbox. Another incredible GDQ. I'm so proud of the gaming community every time I see this. It's amazing what we can accomplish together. Much love. I've got $1,000 from Akusai24, who did not provide a comment, but thank you so much for that generous donation.
Nice.
All right, so now that we've got our exercise in, it's time to play with the dolls.
Yep. More break time.
Ah, the best fight ever.
Yeah.
Everybody loves this fight.
Love this fight.
Oh, yeah, that's wonderful.
I know I love this fight.
Yep. Yeah, so Calbrenna, the next boss, it's normally a 2-stage fight where you fight a ring of 6 dolls that once you've killed all of one color of them, then they'll merge into a big doll that would hit us very hard if we actually saw it. So we're going to try to skip that.
Are you sure you didn't say Big Doll?
I said what I said.
I thought I heard Big Doll.
I heard Big Doll, too.
Yeah.
Remember, the doll is evil. That's what I learned from Bloodborne, okay? The doll's evil.
In the JP version of this fight, actually, you are able to stop all the dolls, too, or the back row of dolls, so it's way easier.
Yeah, the Japanese version is very, very different for speedrun purposes.
They took out all the fun items, basically, yeah. So in the JP version of this fight, it's a lot safer, a lot faster.
I mean, that's a big part too why there isn't really a competitive glitchless category for this version of FF4 too, just because a lot of the tools you'd need in order to make the run fun to do without using glitches don't exist in this version of the game.
So the general strategy here is to use Kain to get the back blue dolls who have more HP, and have Cecil attacking the orange dolls in front. Happy is going to be kicking all of them, and we're going to have some special things for Clay.
Yeah, the orange dolls have 300 health, and the blues have 1,000, so that's why he's targeting his jumps on the blues.
Yeah, and it may look like an error, but we did mute our party on purpose.
That was a pretty bad roll from Kain.
That was a really bad roll from Kain, yeah. So we do want most, if not all, of the party muted, as there is a boss battle immediately after this one, and we are trying to manipulate it in advance.
Yeah, you fight a librarian.
Oh, the
you gotta be
worst.
quiet.
The worst. Yeah, these are some really terrible rolls.
Yeah.
So again, you've got to time it so that
Batman is holding back too much here.
yeah, you want to kill the last blue doll and the last orange doll at the same time. Otherwise, or basically the same time. Otherwise, it ends in sadness and tears. So we definitely do not want either of those things. So we should have it though between the kicks and everything, but definitely playing it safe with the timings to make sure.
Good.
Yep. So we're safe here.
All right, good deal.
Lovely.
Good.
This fight's come a long way over the years too. Like I think probably the biggest change was the introduction of kicking them too, which reduces the amount of randomness as far as whether you can kill them on turns you expect to or not.
Yeah, I played that fight really safe at the end.
Yeah, absolutely. So this next fight, you're going to definitely see some interesting things here, and it can be extraordinarily dangerous. The most important thing you want to do is to make sure that Kain gets off in that jump before Golbez starts to try and paralyze your your party, sorry. So the reason we have muted our party is there's something in this game, it's the status ailment priority chart. So each of the status ailments, they have a certain priority, and if you have one status ailment, then anything below that in priority will not take effect. So in this case, mute is above paralyzed. So we have muted our party, so Golbez just won't be able to paralyze anyone, and it does ensure that you can keep doing things while you're waiting.
Yeah, because ordinarily you'd just be sitting here during all of that text, and then also the Shadow Dragon's attacks, but because we're not paralyzed, we can both do a lot of item sorting and then also get a head start in the actual fight with Golbez.
Yeah, and the goal is to have Golbez dead before our next character joins us. Not with those rolls, though.
That was bad.
Okay, still managed it. So we got Rydia skip. There is no other person.
Boy, that Mist Dragon sure came out of nowhere.
Right? Don't know where that could have come from.
1.5. Hey, 1.5 million.
Get the creepy hand.
Yeah.
That we're just going to stare at for a while, too.
I call him the lobster hand because he's kind of wiggling around. He's got this little tail here.
Rivers, do we have a moment for a quick announcement?
Sure, go for it.
How much time do we have left in the run, would you say?
Maybe 12, 15, 13 minutes.
Okay, so the bid war for choosing the sprites that the characters will use in the Link to the Past randomizer is going to be closed when Rivers calls time for this run. Ooh. And the top 2 names will be chosen. And I've got to quickly explain this. Mog the Moogle is well in the lead at $7,728, but the next 3 characters, Zelda, Dark Link, and Luigi, are almost neck and neck. So if you want, whichever is in second place will be included. So get your donations in for that character bid war because it's going to be ending as soon as he calls time.
Okay.
What?
Yeah, what's happening here? So what you may have noticed, Rivers did make Iridia used the warp spell, which warped us back into the crystal room, which weirdly still contained the crystal. So we, of course, jumped on that opportunity
So
and
you can
took it.
see some weird stuff's going on here, and you know who's not a fan of that is Kane.
Nope.
Batman.
Batman. Yeah.
Batman does not like weird stuff at all.
Batman's just like, I'm gonna nope right out of this thing. Whatever you're doing with this,
I'm
Yeah.
not,
I'll pass.
And Yang has decided.
Batman works alone.
Yang has decided he really wanted to cosplay, so he's now a ninja.
Oh,
We don't question this at all.
I like the look. It's a good change.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Good look for Yang.
He was a little bit too unclothed at the top, you know?
So now that we have that crystal taken away from us, you will note that Rivers went into his inventory and swapped some items, which changed the item warp, because what's happening is we're now on the moon.
Yeah.
Yay.
Yep. The glitch is looking at the different items which he bought, the particular item type, the quantity they're in the stack, and the position they're in the inventory, and taking X, Y, and Z coordinates out of that, and warping around, and taking all of those stairs on the world or in the castle, we just overflowed that and broke the map. So between breaking the map and the item warps, we're gonna have a bit of a cool time here.
Yeah. Like the first thing that he did was to go to the sealed gate or the sealed cave so that he could get Kane removed from his party and then replace him with Fusoya.
So.
Batman. We are far from done.
Oh, we are getting close, but there's definitely a lot of cool stuff happening. So we do have to go through about 63, 64 floors of garbage. So this is the dwarf who creates the Excalibur sword. This is his house we've been hanging out in. So all of this sandy area.
Yeah, and this part of the run has changed massively in the 4.5 years, I think it is, since this was last in a GDQ marathon.
Oh, yeah.
Like I think a lot of the credit goes to myself 86. I think.
Myself
for-
86.
I thought you were going to say it goes to myself.
Also, Nierman Roth did a lot of work on this too, and No Cash, who ran this at GDQ in 2016, or the No 64 category, I mean.
Like I think they've through the findings, I guess, with like putting the chocobo in a specific part in the map and some other just kind of seemingly random things like that manipulate the memory. They cut out a second round of climbing stairs, along with just making this glitch more consistent as far as not crashing your game while doing it.
Yeah, so
Which is kind of nice.
that is really nice. So making sure to change the RGB values here, as that is yet another part of the glitch. And because he's using specifically what's called the 12-item route here, there is going to be a save point right in the middle of the glitch and right before the 3 main spots where this can soft lock, or as we like to call it, bacon. Because the sound of the soft lock is the sound of sizzling. So here we are in a nice save room. It's a little glitchy, but it works. So he did check his in-game timer, as that's one of the things it checks.
That's the bacon sound.
That's the bacon sound.
Take it.
So it meant the time was not quite right.
So we're on 144, which is usually a pretty clean time early, which means we might be late, which means we might be waiting a while unless we just go for it.
Yeah, what he's looking at on his laptop now is actually a pretty elaborate chart of times that it's safe to go through this part of the glitched floor progression.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We made it.
And we made it.
Bacon in hand.
So
I
now,
didn't know that's why you called it bacon, because of the sound.
Yeah, the little sizzle effect.
Yep.
Okay.
And so we're going to keep on walking through here. No big deal. I'm sure everything is normal. The game is reacting to this fine.
get to hear a lot of different music.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Maybe while we're doing this, too, we could kind of remind people that this category is called Any Percent No Credits Warp. The true Any Percent category is in the fastest
what's the
speed run
spell?
for this game.
I don't know.
Just looks a little
Yeah,
weird. I
it's-
say ignore it.
Well, yeah, but the true Any Percent category is pretty much the same up until this point, but then it does a different route through the floor glitching. And
Oh,
then
hey, where
just
are we now?
Instead
We're
of
back on the moon.
instead of going to the moon here, it just calls the ending, but it's inconsistent as far as whether it actually works or not. So this kind of remains the most popular and competitive category.
Yeah, Laura.
So, and since we already have Fusia in our party, who is supposed to be in this cutscene, so instead, the position in the shadow party that it goes to pull, in this case, happens to be Laura. So we're going to get to see some cool things, and one of the really fun games we like to play as part of the community is you're going to see Laura's casting some spells here, which she usually would not have. And in particular, Meteo is one such spell. So Laura has really low magic. So we like to guess value anywhere between 1,600 and 2,100. So maybe in chat, to put your guesses in and see how close to the actual value you can get.
Yeah, Price is Right rules.
Oh,
Price is
yeah,
Right
as
rules.
always.
Yeah.
So-
I'm going 1953.
I'm going to go 2018 for AGDQ 2018.
1842.
1600. You guys are suckers.
I do like how Sid is peering at the silliness in front of him through his
He doesn't know what's going on here.
Nope, not a
magnifying
clue.
glass.
He didn't know why he's casting spells.
Too bad he didn't have those spells usually.
Yeah, he'd actually be useful.
Yeah.
Yeah. Speed run.
So you probably have time for another donation.
I don't know why we're all nice to Golbez here. One thing we should talk about here is that what FF4 teaches you is that if anybody starts breakdancing on the floor, it's usually a bad sign.
Yeah.
Man, he's on fire.
He is the hatred.
Oh, no.
This game is just a great localization. It's wonderful. There are so many great lines.
Yeah.
Yes,
It took,
there are.
and it took 3 people to come up with this, too, because if you watch the full credits, the localization team for this game has 3 names in it.
All right, what
Okay.
are we going to get here?
Let's see what we got. Wow, that was low even for Golbez.
All right. Come on, high.
Let's go,
number.
Laura.
1953.
1846.
Oh, Zach, guess who that is? It's
Oh!
us.
Well, congratulations.
1842 winning.
That was like right on.
It really was. Sometimes it works.
Me, you fools.
What is that? Oh, that hurt.
His was a little better.
Just a little bit.
Oh, we've got that weird, like, cosplay going on again.
Yeah. You know, I think Yang has really rediscovered himself
Yeah.
since the boat pushing off.
Oh, look, Yang's brother.
Yeah.
How nice.
He started eating his carrots. He's got his life together.
Guys, everyone's okay. And Sid's here too. Sid's everywhere.
No, why are the twins
He really
back?
booked it from getting from the underworld to this tower, too.
He's a busy guy. You know, he's got all the airships too. That helps.
The mac and cheese is no longer stale.
Nope. Still no Arby's though.
Oh, no!
You had to remind
Wow.
him,
Yeah, I
didn't
did.
you?
Wow, Natara.
Bring it home.
Arby's! Why?
All right, so we go out here. We get Fusaya. If you watched my Harvey Relief Done Quick run, you know that Zeramus doesn't really like reflected spells very much.
Yeah, because he's got 2 health pools, and by using a glitch involving reflecting spells off of a wall spell, we can actually kind of short-circuit that and skip his 2nd health pool.
Yeah, you definitely don't want him to hit that health pool. It extends things a huge amount.
Yeah, so we've only got Fusaya for this fight. Don't give up the Arby's.
Arby's gave us the energy.
So you will also note that Rivers is making the entire party run here, and this was found just a year ago. That when they're crouched down and kind of sad and crying with sweat drops, it takes a lot more. There's
Creates
lag.
a lot of lag.
Lot of lag. So
12
by,
seconds of lag, I
Yep. So
believe.
by running through this, you save 12 seconds. So you
Wow.
definitely don't want to lose out on that. Yeah, it's pretty beautiful.
So yeah, this is going to be a very technical fight. I actually did not put Biff in the middle to use the crystal right away. So unfortunately, going to have to find a way to get to him really quickly. Turn order might be a little bit
Yeah,
off.
because the timing's going to be really tight. Because every time Blue Zeromus shakes, it does dispel all buffs and effects. So getting his wall off to set up the reflect glitch is pretty tight.
All right, just
Let's
about to
see.
start here. This is going to be a tight one. Okay, we'll go in here and, oops, well, parry, we can get to Biff. I believe in us.
You can do it.
That's going to be time.
Gurzagram.
Don't forget to eat your Gurzagrams.
All right, so I guess if any, there might be a few people kind of curious about what just happened there too. So another thing that Rivers did using the 64 door glitch with the stairs is that he actually corrupted Fusoya's magic list, and he actually gave Fusoya an enemy skill called Reaction, which normally there's an enemy called Grenade on the surface of the moon that has kind of a Easter egg property where if you cast the Lit 1 spell, or well, I guess just any lightning spell on it, it uses a counterattack called Reaction that just actually kills all of the monsters instantly. And by giving that to Fusoya, he was actually able to kill Blue Zeromus and skip the real fight too, because just that Reaction spell, or Uptco as its kind of as its glitch name in the menu displays, just has kind of the special property that it kills all monsters on the battlefield without having to target them, because Blue Zeromus normally anything you try to target him with will miss.
Yeah, but since it targets all enemies instead of him, it's just it wipes them right away.
And the reason it's called Uptco too is it's because it's actually two different ability names that are kind of smushed together. Like Upt, I think, is Disrupt, and then Ko is Cold Mist, which is the Mist Dragon's counterattack.
All right, so I believe we met that nuke glitch incentive, right?
Yep.
Okay, we're going to see some even weirder glitches then.
Yeah, this is brand new, really. This was discovered in 2018, I believe, or at least fully routed in 2018.
Yep. This is something interesting we found.
I have no idea what's going to happen.
Let me make sure this is the right file. Okay, so this is something that I found on a ROM hacking board. We've always known that you were able to multicast things with Twin if you could line the turn orders right and use the right spell. We never had an actual use for it before.
Yeah, doing this does require a kind of a specific battle to use it on, though, as far as achieving the outcome that he wants.
Okay, that's good. All right, so we're going to multicast Nuke. You're going to see the sprites for this kind of overload a little bit. It's a little glitchy. Nuke is supposed to be single cast spell. So the first sign that the game is going wrong with this is right about here where you find the dummy item.
Ooh.
Here's step 2.
But don't worry, it's totally normal.
Yeah.
Nothing to worry about here.
Yeah. This is reminding me of the Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga run earlier
Right?
in the marathon too. I mean, there's still a game behind there. You just have to know where to look for it.
All right, so you can see the text scrolling behind here is behind whatever's going on the screen now. It's actually the text for Keinazo. Apparently, he was sick of hanging out in Baron Castle waiting for us. So he decided, let's pay him a little early visit.
He's coming down into the sewers to finish the job himself.
And of course, you can see because the game is trying to load all this stuff at one time, it's really having problems with it.
Oh, hi.
So we're going to kill him really quick because these characters are level 99.
Good thing you've got Nuke, yeah.
Just to demonstrate the glitch. So after this guy dies, I'm going to put my controller down for about 8 minutes. The game is going to do everything on its own from here on out.
Ooh.
So if you can read the background text, it's very hard, I understand. I've been like squinting at it for a while. You'll notice that the text boxes this thing pops up is from telefighting Edward and Damsian. And what's really going on here is the game is attempting to load at the same time that cutscene, the post-Kainazo cutscene where the twins, Mac and Cheese, get petrified, and the cutscene to go underground after you use the magma key. So the game is, to be charitable, having some issues with this.
Yeah, I mean, and then kind of the short version of how it got to this point is that he cast a spell that has a lot of sprites as part of it, namely Nuke.
Yeah, normally you have like about 20 to 25 of these little orbs coming in, but because you tried to multicast it, the game just couldn't keep up with how many animations were happening. There are ways to do this glitch that we found where you can skip past this part even, but this is just a fun showcase. This part is so great.
It's just black.
Yeah, I think it's still kind of a work in progress as far as exploring potential for this glitch to actually be used in a speed run. But right now, we're just
Also, don't worry about the
letting the
black
magic
screen.
happen.
No,
This is normal.
Things are happening.
Yep.
Yeah, they turned out the lights in Baron Castle.
They're going to sleep a little bit.
Oh no, the walls are closing in.
Now, you could say that that's from Mac and Cheese petrifying themselves, but it's more like the game is concerned about itself, I think, at this point.
Can I petrify myself?
If I turn out the lights, we won't see the absolute disaster that's happening behind.
What's going to happen next, though? I don't know. This is like a murder mystery.
It pretty much is.
There's something being murdered here.
Except we already know who the murderer is. We just don't know who the victim is.
We know someone's gone.
Yep. I'm supposed to be sad about something.
I'm feeling very sad right now.
No tears.
Something is definitely happening here.
Is it possible to get a couple Arby's-related donations in?
Yes, please.
All right. Hey, Brosentia.
What?
Why should we be worried about Arby's setting fire to his other party members?
Okay, why?
Because he makes roast biff.
That was good. That was good.
That was a good one.
I'll give him that one, yes.
That was a $30 donation from Andrew E. And then we have Fry Frenchley with a $150
Fried
donation.
Frenchley.
Who says, "Remember the last words of Arby's as he laid on his deathbed, lips flecked with Bronco berry sauce. You have to kill the Yoshis."
So this is normal. This cutscene always has shaking, I think.
Yeah.
Yep, totally.
The Bronco berry sauce. It just kills me.
By the way, all the text boxes that are happening right now are behind the actual animation map stuff here.
If you'd like turned off background layers and stuff.
Yeah,
in
you would
the
see
game,
them.
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice.
And it's just going
Yeah.
it's going at the speed of the legend text, so it's just very slow.
Oh. But yeah, they don't really care. They just know the bowling alley next door is having a tournament right now.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
And don't worry about Baron. There's just a little local earthquake. It's fine.
No worries. You notice that Cecil has decided that dancing is fun.
And that walls are merely a
Yeah.
suggestion here, too.
You also notice that Sid didn't really get a chance to finish his airship.
But he did add a lot of bookcases, which are pretty swank.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
I think it's classy. I think
I
it's
do.
classy. It's a good look.
Yep. Oh, hey, I saw a text box there for a
Yeah,
second.
yeah. Reminder that Rivers isn't even holding a controller right
Yeah,
now,
this is-
too.
This is the game. The game is doing this all on its own. That's not the right animation at all.
Yeah,
No,
that's,
it is
that's
not.
the giant of Babil normally. Oh, and we got kind of a little add-on hovercraft and creepy hand
And
on our
hook.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
too.
Oh, I like the hat.
Right? Sid, you're not part of this conversation.
No, the hovercraft.
And here's this dramatic Kane Cecil scene, except with dancing.
Yes.
Come on, dance.
Dance with me. one more time. I am
Shall
Batman.
we dance? 1, 2, 3, and shall we dance?
So, Cecil, have you ever danced with the devil in the pale moonlight?
Wow.
Can't even bring himself to look at his friend after betraying him.
One more dance.
That's all the dancing.
No, that's not all the dancing.
But at least the hook's still there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, there's so much more dancing.
So Yang's just going to stare at Cecil for a while. This is really about getting pushed off the boat, I think.
Yeah.
You've got a zit on your face.
In the meantime, Cecil and Sid, though, they're just sharing some looks here, longing looks.
You got a lot of zits on your face.
You've got a beard.
You got purple hair.
Where'd you get that purple hair, boy?
I was outside in the purple rain.
Yeah, also, note Arby's is back. You're welcome.
Yay, Arby's!
Now underground.
Yep.
Oh,
The ground is merely a suggestion too, along with walls.
Yeah. Also, not the explosions we're supposed to have.
Apparently, when you put bookcases on an airship, it makes it, be able to pass
Either
through
that or
solid
that
matter.
tank there just has really, really, really bad aim.
oh, jeez.
Those actually hit them this time,
There we go.
Okay, they're crashed.
Correct. And now, for the first time in minutes, we're finally going to see the text actually scroll for more than like a half second.
Oh, good.
Yeah. I'm really happy that it's there. It tells us a lot about what's going on right now.
But isn't. It's Leon.
So we finally get control again here. One thing you notice is the hovercraft over Cecil's head. That's now his hat. He just wears that. He's having a good old time. And if you go in anywhere, you'll notice that Cecil loves to dance still. He's gonna play us off. If you actually go in and do this fight now, you will actually soft lock the game when Radiant comes back because Cecil will not look at her. But this is just super fun and so grateful that we were able to raise enough money to show us off.